Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto was a primordial sage in fairy tale. Before I start, please support for more amazing content, and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by MVP0014 and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Chapter 1 Win to Lose. Naruto had done it, after all these years, through blood, sweat and tears, and the cost of his right arm. Naruto had done it. He had brought Sasuke back from his darkness, and gotten his best friend back. Some would argue that bringing peace to the elemental nations by uniting the 5 nations through his will alone was more important, but not to him. Fulfilling his promise, and never giving up on his word was more important to him. All he had to do was use his left hand to form the seal that would bring this nightmare to a close and free his friends and comrades. He just needed to listen to the geezer sage explain how to undo the infinite Tsukuyumi. Simply use your remaining hands to weave the rat sign and the jutsu will be undone. Hagoromo, the fabled sage of 6th paths, explained. Sasuke, stated Naruto with all the confidence of the world, the biggest grin he could muster on his bruised face. Right, Sasuke said calmly, as though he hadn't been in a life or death match only just earlier today. The two performed the hand sign and could hear the great tree imprisoning the world's inhabitants slowly start to awake and free its captors. No! 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 You brats ruined it. Do you know how long it took me to arrange this? To revive my mother? Centuries. All wasted thanks to you insignificant brats, yelled a voice they had learned to belong to Black Zetsu. They could hear him, but both inheritors of half the sage's power were exhausted. Sasuke fighting his previous incarnation, as well as a literal goddess, followed by a death match with Naruto, who had inherited the other half of the sage's power, and could now basically be considered a demigod, had left him depleted and running on fumes. Naruto was always considered a stamina freak. Having a ridiculous amount of chakra from his parentage to actual chakra being sealed inside him and having the unique ability to recharge using nature chakra, Naruto rarely knew what it was like to know exhaustion. But after fighting for 3 days non-stop, fighting Kage-level opponents, a primordial chakra monster, a revived legendary Uchiha and a goddess, all leading up to a showdown with his equally powerful rival and best friend. Well, let's say he had had better days. Both shinobi were on their toes, using whatever they had left to find their hidden foe. Having no luck in finding Zetsu, they turned until their backs were to each other, and waited for an impending attack. Sasuke, having the better eyes of the two, could see movement coming from the top half of what he had assumed to be a deceased Madara Uchiha. The man had flipped himself over from where the first Hokage had left him. Though he could not see his face under the thick black mane of the man, he was lifting his head to shift his gaze towards the duo. Only then did he see that the left half of the nearly dead man was all black. Purple Rinnegan flaring to life along with the crimson Sharingan as he used a combination of the two Dijutsu to remove the two from this earth. "Begone!" shouted Zetsu, as he used the legendary Uchiha's powers to send the two to another dimension, or kill them. He wasn't picky. "Naruto!" shouted Sasuke frantically as the blonde spun to face his adversary. Sasuke, having seen Zetsu prepare his stolen technique, leapt away and prepared to counterattack. Naruto, not knowing what was coming, was not so lucky. He was swallowed by a black hole, created to remove him from this world. The last thing he saw of his world was Sasuke's shocked face as he watched his best friend disappear. Falling. He was falling from a height that would surely kill an average person. He could land with minimal injury if he had his strength. Unfortunately, Naruto was running on fumes, and Kurama had yet to wake up from his slumber, having saved his ass against Sasuke. So, with nothing left to give, he fell to what he would assume would be his death. If he was lucky, he wouldn't feel it. Black. When he awoke, he could smell medicine and feel bandages littering his body. His throat was about as dry as Shikaka's sand. When he opened his eyes, he was blinded by the bright white lights in the room. He could only assume he was in a hospital. At this time his body decided to remind him that he was in fact very much alive. And currently life hurt a lot. "Well, it's about time you woke up. Was starting to think you'd never wake," said a voice. Turning his head, he saw a dark orange-haired man. He was a muscular man, clothed in a dark cloak and an armor around his torso and bandages around his forearms. The man had a dark orange beard covering his face, and dark green eyes stared lazily at the bandaged teen. The man then tipped back a rather large bottle of what he could smell to be alcohol of some kind. "The name's Gildarts Clive, ace of fairy tale. You were in pretty rough shape when I found you. Judging by the crater I found you in, you literally fell out of the sky. But based on the injuries you had, you were fighting something pretty strong in those mountains. Something I've been looking for, if I had to guess. Here, drink this," stated the now named Gildarts, who handed him a glass of water, gulping down the clear liquid as though his life depended on it, though wincing at his more than likely broken ribs as he moved his arm. Now that he had some water in his system, and had regained some of his senses, he realized that he had just accepted the glass with his right arm, which last he checked was a stump. Cut off at the elbow, completely destroyed by his clash with Sasuke. Yet here it was, looking good as new, not even a scar to mar his tan skin. The only question is how? His arm hadn't been cut off, it had been completely destroyed. It no longer existed and therefore could not be reattached. "So how? You look pretty confused there, kid," But to be fair, that arm was just a stub when I found you. Amazing what 2 weeks stay in a magic hospital will do, though they only helped you heal. You got a mighty regeneration magic or something. Never seen anyone regrow a lost limb before. You got some powerful magic to be able to do that. Gildarts explained and marveled. 2 weeks? I've been out for 2 weeks. And magic? You think I'm dumb, old man? Magic is the thing of children's stories. And where am I? Asked a rather confused whiskered teen. You fall out of the sky and regrow an arm, and magic seems to be the thing you take issue with? And I'm not that old, you brat. Gildarts replied. And you're at a clinic in the Phoenix Mountains, about 2 hours from Crocus. Where is it you're supposed to be? The doctor never found a guild mark on you, so I'm not sure who to contact about you. Crocus? Phoenix Mountains? I've never heard of them. But I guess that makes sense. Naruto asked rather somberly. His final moments in his home world were coming back to him. He wasn't in his world. And he was alone again. Saving Sasuke and the world was kind of a hollow victory now. He would never see his friends again. Never see his home. Never eat Ichiraku ramen again. He gave his life for his world and now he was in an entirely new world. He would have to start over. Kid. You there? You've been staring at that wall for a while now. Gildarts said, having snapped Naruto from his thoughts. I was thinking, I'm not sure where to go. I'm not from here, I'm from far away. And I can't go back. Even if I could, I'm not sure how. Naruto gave the man some insight to his thoughts. Well, kid, if you want you could come with me. You clearly don't have anywhere to go, and you know how to fight and hold your own. The guild could use a guy like you. No matter how beat up you get, it seems like you won't be down for long. The doc thought you'd be asleep for another month at least, and even he was shocked at how fast you're healing. Even regrow that arm. Shocked the hell out of us. Never seen a magic like that before. Said the orange-haired man. Guild? Magic? Why do you keep mentioning magic? This isn't some fairy tale, old man. Naruto asked. You are from far away if you've never heard of guilds and magic. Much less a guild as famous as fairy tale. Gildarts thought. Well, it's decided, kid. You'll come with me and join the guild. If there's a way for you to get home, then I have no doubt the master will be able to help you out. So stop moping and I'll go tell the doc you're up. Gildarts stated with little room to argue as he left the room. Hey! I didn't agree to anything yet, old man. Naruto shouted after the man. And put those clothes I left on the bed on. He shouted from outside the room. As he looked to the foot of the bed, he found a set of clothes that most certainly weren't his, laying neatly folded. He realized his normal orange and black jumpsuit likely hadn't survived the dimension jump and the fall. He'd have to suck it up for now. Skip. Well, let's get going, kid. Gildarts shouted from down the road. Naruto now garbed in a rather bland black shirt and pants. The remains of his headband in his pocket, the doctor having returned it to him before he left, and the scroll containing some of his equipment in another. If only he had a spare jumpsuit in there. He looked cool in it. Will you stop calling me kid, old man? And wait up, I'm still injured and don't know where I'm going. Naruto shouted back. I'll stop calling you kid when you learn some manners and introduce yourself, kid. Gildarts yelled back, still going on his way. Naruto began a jog, having been healed by the doctor's odd power, was in much better shape than when he had woken up, but still had some soreness that would only go away with some rest. He finally caught up to the older man and slowed to match Gildarts' rather jovial pace. Naruto, said the blonde, embarrassed he hadn't told the man his name. Hearing the man grunt in question, he continued, my name's Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki. Well, Naruto, we got a bit before we reached the next town. Why don't you tell me what caused all that damage you had? Wouldn't have been a black dragon, would it? Gildarts asked, intrigued by the potential answer. Dragon? Magic? This place is weird. Naruto said. No, I wasn't a dragon. I fought in a war. And fought a bunny goddess, Naruto said, as though that sounded more normal than a dragon. A war? I didn't know any of the surrounding countries were at war. And a bunny goddess? Are you sure you're okay? You did hit the ground pretty hard. And aren't you a little young to fight in a war of all things? Asked the skeptical Gildarts. Hey, I'm a proud shinobi of the Hidden Leaf Village. And young? Shinobi starts training at like 13. I'm basically a veteran. And yeah, a bunny goddess. She kept throwing me around all these different worlds with her eyes and kept trying to steal my chakra. Naruto exclaimed, as though that explained everything. Shinobi? You mean like one of those ninja clans from way out east? And what kind of rabbit sends people to other dimensions with their eyes? Gildarts questioned. Their eyes. Sasuke can use his eyes to come find him. He had a Rinnegan now too. Maybe there was a way home after all, and if he did go to this fairy tale, maybe he could find a way to help Sasuke find him. With a renewed confidence, Naruto began to outpace Gildarts, eager to look for a way home. Kid, slow down. If you don't know where you are, how are you going to get there? Gildarts shouted, trying to catch up to the now energetic boy. Hey old man, what's this about a black dragon? Naruto asked as he continued to speed ahead. Skip. Well, here we are, home sweet home. Gildarts said as he strode through the currently realigning town. Naruto, bewildered by the town shifting around, as sirens blared, seeming to warn every one of the man's arrival. If the voice he heard warning the townsfolk of a Gildarts shift? Whatever that was? But it made their destination clear, as the buildings moved to form a path that led toward the cliffside and large building he could see in the distance. As they strode forward, the building became larger until they were standing in its cast shadow. "Welcome to Fairy Tale, Naruto," Gildarts stated proudly. The man then stood up straight and made his way to the double doors leading inside and shoved both open with a mighty shove, only to reveal a rather large and rowdy crowd of people. Screaming, fighting, furniture being destroyed, spells firing to and fro, an entire pile of broken chairs and tables on fire, and a flying cat screaming about fish, as well as what he could only describe as a demon flying around throwing a dark-colored magic around at a girl in armor. It was not what he expected in the slightest, but not the weirdest thing he's ever walked in on. "Enough, you brats. Do you have any idea how much this is gonna cost the guild to fix all this damage?" yelled an absolute giant of an old man yelled out, as he smashed a pink-haired kid with his equally giant fist. The crowd had stopped what they were doing and seemed to look sheepish about their actions. Even the demon had stopped mid-flight to turn towards the giant. Now he could see that the demon was in fact a young woman, probably about his age. She had long white hair tied into a ponytail, held back by a red bow. Since she was facing away from him at the moment, he had no idea what her face looked like, but her body would more than likely be the star of one of his master's books. That and her choice of clothes, a tight black top that showed off her back and midriff and squeezed against her abundant chest. Trailing down her porcelain back he could see the tight, short purple skirt held up her wide hips by a white belt. The fact that she was flying plus her short skirt that it could only be by magic, that the girl's underwear wasn't on display right now. Not that he had tried to peek. To finish up this girl's scarce choice of clothing was a pair of thigh-high, heeled leather boots that stopped mid-thigh, squeezing the rather supple flesh, giving a rather satisfying pudge if he was honest. Overall, he thought that despite not seeing her face, her generous curves and skimpy clothing, he was sure she'd be quite attractive. "Gildarts! Don't go making a bigger mess!" shouted the giant. It was at that moment that Naruto saw the most absolutely beautiful girl he's ever seen. The demon girl, as he'd come to call her, had blue eyes that he could swear would put his own to shame, like large sapphires glinting in the light staring at him and the man he arrived with. There was no denying it, Naruto was smitten. This demon angel would either haunt or grace his dreams for the foreseeable future. "Master! There's someone I want you and the guild to meet. I think he'll make a fine addition to this rambunctious guild," the guild's ace loudly declared. "Go on, kid, introduce yourself." Hello, I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Pleasure to meet you all," the boy said, rather embarrassed to be put on the spot like this. The guild just stared at him, not really enthused nor negative with his arrival. Or not, he muttered to himself. "Ah, you must be the kid Gildarts spoke about. You don't look as beat up as he described. Though I guess if our guild's ace is vouching for you, then I guess you must be tough." "I'm Makarov Dreyer, current master of Fairy Tale. Nice to meet you," said an old kind voice. Naruto looked around for the man who had spoken but found no one. He assumed that the giant man he had seen squish that pink-haired kid was the master, but the giant seemed to have vanished. "Down here, kid," said the same voice. Naruto looked down to find the small master of Fairy Tale, smiling up at him, with a kindness one would find in a grandfather figure. "Ah, where'd you come from?" Naruto shouted, startled by the small man's appearance. "I walked right up to you, though I guess that could be forgiven. The guild has a rather distracting quirkiness that startles newcomers. You were probably focused on the bar brawl you saw. Or the fire. Everyone likes to see a fire," the man said. "So, what brings you to our guild?" "Well, the old man said that since I had nowhere to go, that the guild might be able to help me get home. That you might know a way back to where I come from," the blonde said with some hope. "Well, I'm not all sure about that. But Fairy Tale is a home for the lost and the misguided. If Gildarts vouches for you, that's good enough for me, and I can see what I can do about helping you find your way home. For now, let's just get you settled, and we can work out the details later," the kind man said. "Urza, bring me the guild stamp, please," he shouted to someone behind him. That's nice you're so accepting of me, but if Gildarts told you about me, well then, I'm not so sure I want to join the guild. I gotta get home as fast as possible. I just finished a war and have to check on my friends. I have no idea if they're okay or not," Naruto stated. "Yes, Gildarts told me. Unfortunately, I'm not aware of any country that has been in a war recently. Which only means you come from a far place not so easily reached. It will take some time and most likely quite a bit of money to get you home. Luckily, if you join the guild, you can solve one of those problems," Makarov explained. It was about this time that Urza arrived with what the old man had asked for. She was a rather pretty girl about his age. She had long straight scarlet hair that reached the small of her back that had him compare the girl to his mom. Beautiful red hair, but that was the only similarity the two women shared. This girl had brown eyes, in contrast to his mother's purple eyes. Urza was wearing a set of armor that covered her top half and her arms. She had a blue skirt that reached just past her knees, and a pair of brown leather boots that stopped below her knees. To complete her knightly look, she had a sword strapped to her hip. He recalled this girl being the one to clash with the demon girl upon his arrival. Naruto, this is Urza Scarlet, one of our S-class wizards. Urza, this is Naruto, he's here to join the guild with Gildarts' approval. The wizened master told the girl. Hello, it's a pleasure to meet you, Naruto. The girl stated as she gave a slight bow. At least she was nice. Hello, it's nice to meet you. Naruto stated, unsure of how to take the girl who moments ago was in a clash that could put some shinobi to shame. Naruto, for now go with Urza and meet some of the other members. Me and Gildarts should speak. We can get you into the guild shortly after. The master waved off as he strode away, Gildarts, following behind the short man. Before he could rebut the man's words, he felt an iron grip grab his wrist and haul him in the other direction. Please Naruto, follow me, said the scarlet-haired girl, as she led him towards the other side of the guild hall. Tin Can, I see you found yourself a boyfriend. He kind of looks pathetic, but what should I expect from a cow like you? A rather snarky voice said. As luck would have it, said voice belonged to the very girl he was enamored with earlier. Not now, Mira, master said to introduce him to everyone. The girl said with some annoyance in her voice. Clearly irritated with the white-haired girl's remarks. Naruto, this is Mira Jane. Don't mind her, she's always this bitchy. So that was the catch. Absolutely gorgeous 10 out of 10, but had a shitty personality. Figures, bitchy? Ha, you're just too uptight. Maybe if you didn't have to stuff your fat ass into that garbage can, the blood would flow to your brain, and you might be able to put up a decent fight. The girl, now named Mary Jane, replied cockily. What was that, you goth slut? Said the angered redhead, as she lunged toward Mary Jane. Another fight ensued, though only between the two young women, and not the guild in its entirety. Sorry about that, Big Sis can be a little abrasive to new people. A kind younger voice stated. Naruto turned and to his shock found what he assumed to be a younger, short-haired version of Mary Jane looking at him. A tall, slender kid, who had the same hair and eye color as the two young women he had met, stood beside the young girl. My name's Lysana Strauss, and this is my brother Elfman. The girl answered his unasked question. Mary Jane is our older sister. Please don't think little of her, she's not so trusting of new people because of our childhood. She really is a good person. The girl said to defend her older sister. Yeah, it was rough on her, but Big Sis is a man. To go through that and still keep going. It's so manly. The boy named Elfman said, rather lamely, and unmanly, in his opinion. Naruto Uzumaki, don't worry about it. I've met people much worse than your sister. Naruto said to the nice siblings. He did file away the bit about the rough childhood though. He had experience in that. So are they always like that, or? He asked the two as he watched the two fighting women throw each other around and destroying more chairs. Oh, that? Yes, Urza and Myra's rivalry is a little extreme, to new people. They'll be done in a minute. The young girl said to him. Lysana. Who's the new kid? Shouted yet another new voice. He should prepare. Lot of new voices and faces to learn. The kid who he saw get smashed into the ground was now next to Lysana, followed by another new kid. Though this one was missing a shirt and had dark blue hair. Kid? I'm older than you, ya brat. Naruto exclaimed towards the pink-haired boy. Natsu, be nice. Naruto was brought here by Gildarts. You should try to make a good impression. Lysana lectured the pink boy. Natsu, then remarked, if Gildarts brought you, then that means you're strong. Fight me, Natsu, Lysana once again said, this time carrying an edge in her voice. Be nice, Naruto just got here. Yeah, flame brain. Have some class. The name's Gray, said the now naked dark-haired boy. What did you call me? You stripper, shouted Natsu, and then proceeded to start yet another fight. And this is also normal? Naruto asked the youngest Strauss. Unfortunately. Natsu and Gray are rivals too. The girl said, embarrassed by her guildmates. No, not that. I meant the kid stripping naked in front of everyone. Yes, that too. She replied, further embarrassed. Please follow me, Naruto. I'll introduce you to everyone else. Lysana proceeded to show Naruto around and introduced him to the members of the guild who were currently not away on jobs. He had to admit, the guild had some rather unique characters. And considering some of the shinobi he knew, was saying something. I'm not sure where Kana went off to. She's usually by the bar, and I know she was here today. The girl said, confused, wondering where her senior had run off to. Mira POV. The day had started off rather normal. She and her siblings had gone on a small job to get some funds for the next couple of days before returning to the guild. And as normal, a brawl had started in the guild hall. But whatever, just an excuse to kick the tin can's ass. That was until the master got pissed and shut it down. And what's more, the guild's elusive ace had decided to visit the guild. And he brought some newbie with him. The guy honestly didn't look very impressive. Especially if he was brought by Gildarts. And those clothes he wore. So bland and boring. Black was a good color, but those clothes were awful. But I guess he was cute though. Reminded her a bit too much of that bastard Laxus with that bright blonde hair. But those blue eyes looked like her own family's blue orbs. Okay, he was pretty good looking. And those whisker marks made him look kind of feral? Beastie? Then she briefly made her presence known, before she was dragged into a fight with the tin can, which she won, and started. And now she looked on with her siblings as the new guy got his guild mark. Orange? And on his chest? How original. Half the guys had their guild marks on their chests. This guy was going to be boring like the rest of them too. That was until he removed his shirt. Which honestly was too big for him anyway. Good thing too. Wouldn't want to show how much of a twig he wholly. The new guy was ripped, maybe she judged too quick. The guy had abs she could grate cheese on. And he was tanned. When he finally got his shirt off, she saw the scars. Well, specifically the big one. It looked like he took a lightning bolt to the heart. It was faded, which meant he had it for a while. Then after he got his mark, in orange, on his left pec, he turned to put his shirt back on, and she saw that the scars got worse. Mainly the big one, which was on the opposite side of the one on his chest, which meant whatever did that, had pierced through his body and came out the other side. If Mira was honest with herself, the scars unnerved her. In a word, with magic, scars were rare. Even with all the things she endured in her childhood, her skin remained unblemished. Scars meant usually one of two things. One, that whatever happened hadn't been attended to soon enough, or that what had caused it was so powerful that healing magic couldn't overcome it. She was inclined to believe in this case, it was the latter. Still, she couldn't feel any magic from this guy. So, what if he had a rockin' bod, a sexy face and those confident blue eyes? If he didn't have any magic, then he'd be a nobody. So, what exactly did Gildarts see in this guy? Naruto POV. There, officially a part of Fairy Tail. Makarov stated proudly as the guild cheered for their new member. But I'm afraid there's one more thing to do. And I'm sure the rest of the guild, are wondering what exactly you can do. So, I guess I can just pit you against one of the guild's wizards to test you. Any volunteers? Makarov asked. I volunteer. The guild turned towards the voice to see Fairy Tail's very own demon, Mira Jane Strauss, looking at the new guy with determination in her eyes. Mira, maybe not one of the S-class mages. Master attempted to dissuade the girl. Even the other members agreed. Mira was a monster, best not to discourage new members on their first day. No. The kid can handle it. Gildarts stated, leaving no room for argument. Go on, kid, show us what you got. Yendi, Chapter 2, New Friends and New Frenemies? I volunteer. The guild turned towards the voice to see Fairy Tail's very own demon, Mira Jane Strauss, looking at the new guy with determination in her eyes. Mira, maybe not one of the S-class mages. Master attempted to dissuade the girl. Even the other members agreed. Mira was a monster, best not to discourage new members on their first day. No. The kid can handle it. Gildarts stated, leaving no room for argument. Go on, kid, show us what you got. I guess I can show you something. Naruto said, rather unsure of how much effort to put into this spar. You guess? Don't worry, I won't kill you, unless those muscles are for show. Mira taunted. As the guild made their way outside, Gildarts thought it best to give the blonde a heads-up pep talk. Kid, don't let her fool you. That girl looks real good on the outside, but she's got some power to her. A literal demon. Gildarts gave the boy some tips. Her magic is strong. She can use a demon's power as her own. Pretty sure that's why she acts so haughty. Uses the power of demons, huh? Sounds like something I have experience with. Naruto said, mostly to himself. As he made his way through the crowd, he found Mira Jane in a clearing waiting for him. About time you showed up. Figured you'd chicken out. It's okay. I wouldn't want to fight neither. Mira said with a confident smirk. Naruto didn't reply. Instead, he waited for the match to begin. He sat back and watched as she bent her arms, fists tight as she also waited for the to go ahead. He noticed that the girl had no stance to begin with, which meant that she either didn't have any hand-to-hand training, or she was just that confident. He was willing to bet it was probably a little of both. But he figured without Kurama being awake, he should use what he had available and began to gather sage chakra. Alright brats, listen up. This is a one-on-one match. No killing or maiming your opponents. The match will end with a knockout, a surrender, or if I say so. Makarov yelled out so everyone could hear. He looked at both fighters and received a nod from both. Begin! Mira instantly transformed into her Satan soul form. Instead of charging forward, she began to gloat. It's not too late to back out now. I won't hold it against you. I am an S-class. And quite the demon. She said in a much deeper, more mature voice. Naruto didn't even flinch. Thanks to his gathering of sage chakra, he could feel how strong she was. He put her at about a high chunin, maybe low jonin level. If this was what passed as an S-class, then they would freak if he ever used his full power. Could he even use his full power? His arm was back. The sage's mark was back, but Kurama was still asleep. He'd figure it out later. It was about this time that he gathered the necessary amount of chakra to go into sage mode, which was good, since Mira Jane didn't feel like waiting for him to make the first move any longer. She was a little hot-headed, wasn't she? Take this, Mira shouted as she flew across the field towards him. Her right fist cocked back, aimed right for his face. Naruto simply shifted his feet and used his left hand to catch the girl's fist. This drew some attention, as spectators had expected the boy to dodge. Mary Jane was one of their S-class after all. She had strength that few could match. Even Mary Jane was shocked. Not even Urza had the strength to catch her fist. In fact, he had stopped her charge completely. She simply floated in front of him, unable to press forward. Instead, she lit her fist up in her darkness magic and used it to free her from the boy's grasp, before returning to her starting position. Not bad, but don't think I put my all into that. I was going easy on you, she said arrogantly. She again charged forward, this time faster, and both fists covered in her dark magic. Only to receive the same result. Only this time a shockwave mazed its way from the two, crashing into the surrounding mages. It toppled hats and blew around everyone's hair and loose clothing, but showed them the difference in the strength in both attacks. Is that all you got? Naruto spoke for the first time since the match started. This of course infuriated Mary Jane, and had the guild members questioning his sanity. I'll show you! She yelled before her feet were also coated in the dark energy, and she began wildly punching and kicking towards the boy. Naruto used his heightened senses to dance around her attacks. Before he delivered a devastating blow to the girl's unguarded midsection, Mary Jane coughed up some spit before grabbing her stomach, collapsing onto the ground, her Satan soul leaving, and her normal form returning. The guild stood back in shock. It wasn't every day one of their S-class was defeated by a non-S-class after all. Much less in one blow. Mira had yet to take a breath, having had the wind literally knocked out of her. Oh shit! Naruto panicked. Hey, take a second, catch your breath. I'm sorry, I guess I don't know my own strength. He continued as he started to fret over the downed girl. Makarov decided to call the match, as he believed something to be wrong. He knew Myra's capabilities better than most after having seen her during the last year's S-class trials. If she got knocked out of her takeover form and hadn't gotten back up, she had to have sustained a major injury. Mira, who finally took a big gasp of air, began to cough for her trouble. She looked at the boy who had dropped to her knees and was staring at her with concern. She was shocked. The boy had some real worry in his eyes from what he had done. She had only ever had her siblings show her the concern and care she was receiving. It was very odd for her. She felt flattered the boy showed concern for her. It was too bad her demon side outweighed her teenage girl side. She was furious the boy had beaten her. In one punch. A newbie at that, TCH. You got a lucky hit in. You should just be happy Master called the match. She sneered at the boy. Don't look down on me. Next time you won't be so lucky. Look, Mary Jane, I don't doubt your strength, he began. Save it. I don't want your pity, she said as she got up and turned away from the boy. Naruto for his part felt he could sympathize with her. Added the bit of information the girl's siblings had provided, he had a feeling the two of them were more alike than he thought. Mary Jane, calm yourself. I had a feeling the boy was stronger than I thought. Gildarts did vouch for him, Master stated to the irritated girl, which didn't do anything to comfort the girl. Naruto, I didn't realize your physical abilities were so strong. We didn't get to see any of your magic. So that's unhelpful, Makarov said, unsure of how to proceed. Well then, he'll have to fight someone with a similar strength. So, he'll have to use his magic then, won't he? Asked the smirking Gildarts, who now stood in the spot Mary Jane did at the start of the match. Master, I will test him. I couched for him, it's my responsibility. Gildarts, I don't think that's a good idea. Naruto is strong, but you are another monster indeed. We don't even know what his magic does, and you can destroy the town just by walking through it. Master rebutted the man's words. I accept. Naruto stated calmly and confidently. This got a reaction from everyone, as they all began to yell and make bets. None believing the boy could beat the ace. I'll even give you a chance. I'll only use 50% of my power to fight you, kid. Gildarts added. Master, if you would? Makarov then raised a hand toward the man, spoke some words under his breath as a small flash of light enveloped the man. There, I've sealed away half your magic. Same rules as before. And Gildarts. When I say stop, you stop. The small man added. Begin. Naruto, having still been in sage mode, decided to go on the offensive. If the man was the ace, the strongest the guild had to offer, then he was much stronger than Mary Jane. He charged forward, intent on planting his fist in the man's chest. Gildarts shifted before he gave a lazy swing down as if to hit Naruto on the head. Naruto dodged to the side, having felt the power gathered in the man's fist. He watched as his lazy punch hit the ground and caused an explosion. The force actually blew him away from the man. Naruto landed about 20 yards away from the man and the new crater he was standing in. He could no longer see him with the dust in the air. My crash magic causes massive damage to things around me. It's incredibly hard to control, it's why the town moves around when I show up. I can blow things up just by walking into them. When I use it in battle it's easier to control. But to just not use it for everyday tasks is another headache, the hidden man stated. You better take it up a notch if you want to even hit me. I don't advise you catch one of my attacks. The man then charged forward, forcing Naruto on the defensive. Naruto dodged the man's fists much like he had Mary Jane's. The man was slower than the demon girl, but his power was much more potent than hers. Naruto, having had enough of dodging, summoned two Raisengans. deciding to use them in a similar fashion to Hinata's twin lion fists, and began to slam his attacks into the man's oncoming barrage of punches. The resulting shockwaves actually knocked a couple of the weaker mages watching off their feet. Everyone was watching in shock, none more so than Fairy Tail's two S-class females. The two knew the gap between themselves and Gildarts was vast, but even they didn't believe they could match the man's power, even if he only had access to half his magic. Naruto and Gildarts continued to clash. Explosions of energy continued to rock the very ground they were standing on. Gildarts began to smirk and began to add to the power of his strikes. Actually, putting some power in and behind each blow. Naruto, who had to continue to add his own and a portion of nature chakra into his own attacks just to keep up, could feel his empowered state start to fade. Instead, he poured every ounce of nature chakra he had into one final blow, causing Gildarts to be blown off his feet and blasted away from the blonde shinobi. "Is that all you got?" Gildarts asked, smirk still on his smug face, using Naruto's thought against Mirajane against him. Naruto, having no more nature energy, deciding he needed to buy some time to gather more. Raising his hands into his signature cross-hand sign, he called out his technique. Shadow Clone Jutsu. 2 clones popped into existence behind him. Both immediately sat on the ground to begin gathering energy. Naruto charged ahead. He reached into his back pouch as he neared Gildarts. He dodged the man's punch and slapped an explosive tag onto the man's side. He knew he could take it. The man's magic would negate a good portion of the blast. Then he made a dash away from the man. Boom! The blast lifted the earth beneath the man into the sky. A dark cloud enclosed the man. As chunks of rock fell toward the ground, he could hear the man's magic disintegrate anything that fell on the man. Cough cough, man, I didn't think you could make me explode like that. It kinda tickled, he heard the man say. Naruto was unsure of how to proceed. He knew nothing about magic and less about Gildarts' crash magic. Only that it was powerful, and it acted as an armor that kept him from getting close. If he punched the man, he could explode. And he honestly didn't want to find out what that would feel like. Instead, he summoned a dozen clones and sent them in to find out. The guild watched as a dozen of the blonde charged forward and attempted to punch the crash mage. Naruto was surprised to see that instead of exploding on contact with the man, his magic instead acted like a shield, instead of basically a bomb, which meant the man had to hit him with it to use it offensively. Which meant he could hit him. It would just mean his magic would protect him and dampen anything the blonde threw at him. But that meant only one thing to the blonde. He could win. He let the clones continue to buy him time till he could use the nature chakra his first 2 clones were gathering. He watched the clones dance around the man, dodging his blows, and tanking everything they could dish out and then some. Gildarts clearly got tired of fighting the clones as he gathered a large amount of his magic and struck the ground. The explosion took out the ground he stood on and the 12 clones around him. Naruto was then able to sift through the memories his clones had experienced. He found that the clones were giving it all they had. It was like bare-fisted punching a brick wall. The ace's magic really did act as an armor. Naruto deactivated one of his clones to gather its nature chakra. The telltale orange once again surrounded his eyes. Then he charged forward towards the man once again. This time, as he dodged the man's heavy blows, knowing that taking one would probably mean defeat, he proceeded to use his enhanced strength to punch away at the man, hoping to find a limit to the man's magic defense or his body's reserves. The guild winced as they heard Naruto continue to rain down blows into the man's body as he dodged around their ace's own. Each impact carried an audible impact they could hear very distinctively. This went on for a couple moments. Naruto was going to lose his Sage mode a second time this fight, having used chakra to enhance his strikes. He was beginning to think he couldn't damage Gildarts. That was until he saw the small amount of blood leaking from the man's mouth. It was almost undetectable with the man's orange beard acting as camouflage. But it was there. Naruto smirked, finally seeing some progress in chipping away at the man's defense. Makarov, however, was impressed. He too could see the blood from Gildarts' mouth. Meaning Naruto was actually capable of damaging the man. He didn't think anyone in the guild, bar himself, could actually injure the crash mage. He also took notice of Naruto's tactical thinking. He wouldn't charge in blindly like Natsu. He could see when the blonde made those clones, that he used them to gather intel on the man's abilities, which meant he could think in the midst of combat. A trait he looked for while he was evaluating his S-class mages. Makarov also took notice that Naruto waited till the mysterious power he felt from him came back and the orange pigment around his eyes was once again present before the real. Naruto moved to press Gildarts. Impressed he was. And if he could actually challenge and damage the famed ace of Fairy Tail, then it seemed he might have yet another S-class mage on his hands. He'd have to speak with Gildarts about this. Urza was shocked. Admittedly, she didn't think much of the blonde when he arrived alongside the guild's ace. Sure, he was particularly nice, handsome she guessed, though it was an unfair comparison. The only people her age she could compare the blonde to was Laxus, Gray and Natsu. And she didn't find any of the three attractive. Natsu and Gray were more like brothers to her. And much too childlike for her to consider attractive. Cute maybe, but not handsome. Laxus, well, he was an ass. Too much for her to overlook to even give him the satisfaction of calling handsome. Naruto was handsome, but his bland clothes did nothing for him. Sure, she had seen the boy take his shirt off and could see his rather muscled body. His scars, however, left her with many questions. It was clear he was no stranger to battle, but again in those clothes he seemed bland and boring. So to see the man once shot her rival, Mary Jane, who she herself had difficulty keeping up with at times, be defeated so easily. It made her wonder how she would fare against the blonde. Then Gildarts challenged the blonde, and to see him actually pose a challenge for the man, even at half strength, made her doubt she even stood a chance against the mysterious boy named Naruto. Mary Jane was conflicted. On one hand, Naruto was putting on a show that no one in the guild expected while facing Gildarts of all people. Gildarts! So she was rooting for him. After all, he needed to be incredibly strong to defeat her so easily. If he couldn't take on the ace, then her reputation would plummet. Being defeated in one punch, that hurt her pride. But on the other hand, she hoped the ace would knock the blonde's teeth out. That would show him for humiliating her. Sis, said Lisana. It's okay, I think you did great. Yeah, you were a real man out there. Elfman added, trying to comfort his sister. Thanks, you too. But seeing him take on Gildarts, I don't think I stood a chance. She said in a rare show of uncertainty. No. You did good. No one knew what he could do, and you were the only one brave enough to fight him. You gave it your all, and that's what matters. Naruto's super strong, so next time you'll be ready. Lisana said without any room to argue. You're my big sister, and I still think you're the best, she added softly. Mary Jane felt like she could cry. She could feel the support of her siblings. Even after watching her lose to a stronger opponent, they still believed in her. So she only had one choice. She couldn't let them down now, could she? Well, I gotta say, you sure pack a wallop. Gildarts said in between breaths. It seemed that having his power halved was starting to show. You're one to talk. Look around. All these craters are from you. Naruto said evenly. He wasn't even-winded. That's enough. Makarov said loudly. Having seen enough, and knowing if the two continued, either one of the other members would be caught in the crossfire, or one of the two would be severely hurt. The guild, however, didn't see his reasoning and began to show their disappointment in not being able to see the end of two strong mages duking it out. Ha! It's been a while since I've been pushed like this. Not many people are strong or dumb enough to try and punch me in the face, Gildarts said with a huge grin on his face, not letting the others see how affected he was by the blonde's barrage. He had a reputation to keep after all. He'd sneak off to see poor Lyusuka later. Congratulations, Naruto. You did very well, and I was able to see a bit of what you can do. I'm impressed you could match Gildarts at half strength. Makarov said happily. Gildarts, we should talk, he said as he began to walk away from the direction of the guild. Of course. But master, the guild's the other way. The man in question said as he followed anyway. Oh, I know. I figured we could take a stroll. Maybe stop by and see poor Lyusuka. The small man said. Though the last part was quite enough, only the two of them could hear. Gildarts, however, glared at the small master's cheeky look as he grumbled and followed after him. That was so cool. You took on Gildarts. You even beat Mira. You can do clone magic? Fight me. Stated a now excited Natsu as he stood in front of the blonde, despite the guild's questions and comments. Natsu, if you fought him you'd die, said a flying blue, talking cat. How had he missed that when he was being introduced? Suddenly the guild grew quiet and began to back away from the blonde. He was confused for a moment until he realized why. Mary Jane was making her way towards the blonde. He couldn't get a good read on her mood. She had a rather blank face as she approached. Look, you fought Gildarts and made him try. So I admit you're strong, blondie. But don't think for a second that I'm not gonna beat you down one day, she declared rather heatedly as she stood before him. Naruto was taken aback by the beautiful mage's conviction. Her sapphire orbs shined with determination to one day defeat him. Naruto, you were a man. Elfman praised. Naruto? Lisana said, gaining his attention. Me and Mirane decided to take you shopping for new clothes. To celebrate your victory, and she left off. 'Cause it's all ripped, and you're so bland looking. I can't let people see you like that. You don't look remotely cool or badass enough to beat me. Mira finished for her sister, in her own Mira way of course. Naruto looked down to see that his lone clothes had seen better days, having several rips and tears all over from his match with Gildarts. He looked rather sheepish at the fact that he looked rather ragged. I guess we can do that, he replied. Good. Let's go, Mira said as she dragged the boy off. Lisana following her sister along. Skip, that's much better, Lisana said as she saw Naruto in the outfit he had picked out. You look like someone who could actually fight me. You're not bland anymore, at least, Mira said with her arms crossed. Head turned away, an almost unnoticeable blush on her face she was trying to hide. Unfortunately, her meddling sister had seen the pink in her cheeks. I actually look pretty badass, Naruto said as he looked at himself in the mirror. He was now garbed in a set of black pants similar to the ones used by Jonin back home. He had orange bandages wrapping around his ankles, leading to his black ninja sandals. He had an orange sash tied off to the side at his left hip to keep his pants in place. He had foregone a shirt, as Lisana suggested he do so to show off his guild mark and his cool scars. And though she didn't voice it out loud, so her sister could see his abs and muscled chest. Instead of a shirt, the girl had found a black vest and had gotten the tailor to put a large guild mark on the back in the same shade of orange as his sash and bandages. To finish off his outfit, he had a black headband and his ninja pouches in place on his hip and thighs. Yeah, I think this could work. You sure I don't need a shirt though? Naruto asked the girls. Mira refused to look at him directly, sneaking glances at the boy, pink dusting her cheeks, becoming more prominent the more she looked. Of course. You look so cool. And the scar makes you look like a bad boy. Girls will be all over you, Lisanna said with only one girl in mind. Cough, Mira, cough. I don't know about that. I've never been really popular with girls, Naruto said kind of awkwardly. Embarrassed by the thought of so much female attention, he wasn't used to that. That was Sasuke's department. Trust me. They'll love you. Right, Mirane? She said rather teasingly to her sister. Mira Jane, to her credit, looked mortified that her sister had picked up on her attraction to the blonde and was clearly going to exploit it. She turned around completely to hide her blush. I don't know about that. But you don't look like a loser, she said after a moment. Not looking at his general direction. Yendi, Chapter 3, Love at First Fight. It had been about 6 months since Naruto and Gildarts' duel. Naruto had been given the rank of S-class at the behest of Gildarts, who reasoned that anyone who could fight him and have had a chance at winning, even when he had only been at half strength, was much stronger than any normal mage. The small master was originally going to make Naruto wait another 6 months for the next S-class trials. However, Gildarts was a prime candidate to inherit the title of Guild Master. Even more so than his own grandson, despite his insistence. It would give Gildarts good practice making such decisions, and he might be able to retire now that the orange-haired man was back. So, Makarov had told Gildarts to make the announcement if he felt like Naruto was worthy of the rank. The guild had mixed reviews, of course. Half were for another mage with an S-class status in the guild. The other was not fully on board, making several complaints that 1. Naruto was brand new. And 2. Gildarts wasn't the guild master, he was the ace, and second in command, but still. Makarov had told the guild that he agreed with the decision to promote Naruto. This had a few accept the new information, but others were still skeptical. So as a compromise, Naruto would be on a 6-month probationary period as S-class, to be accompanied by another S-class for evaluation. And by that he meant Gildarts. That was 6 months ago. And today marked the first day he was off probation. To say that he was excited to not have a babysitter was an understatement. He was a shinobi after all. He had been doing more dangerous things at age 13 than he had here in his new home. Speaking of his new home, he had gotten along quite well with those of his age. Well, except Mira Jane. That whole situation was weird. One minute she would be fairly pleasant to him, the next she'd yell at him and tell him to be ready for their rematch and his pending defeat. She'd then get flushed in the face and run off. He worried about her. He wondered if she got sick often, given how red she was all the time. Poor girl. He had even met a girl by the name of Kana. She was nice, but apparently was afraid of Gildarts or something. She was never around when the man would show up. He'd have to figure out why that was. A problem for another day though. The older members of the guild hadn't warmed up to him yet. They'd often be heard by other members that he was too new and too young to be in S-class already. Which was weird. They wouldn't dare say that to Urza or Mira, who he had found out were younger than him. Only by a couple months, but still. Naruto. Fight me, yelled a pink-haired dragon slayer. Natsu, not now. Today's my first day off probation, Naruto replied as he walked past the annoyed boy. He could hear Happy tell the boy why fighting him wouldn't be a good idea. Naruto. Congratulations, said a happy Lisanna. She was so different from her sister he forgot they were related sometimes. Thanks, Lisanna. What are you three up to today? He asked curiously. Mira said not to tell a bunch of people, but she's taking us on an S-class quest, she said in a hushed whisper. That sounds exciting, but are you sure you two are ready? Your sister's strong, but you two are still a way away from her, he said to her in concern. Lisanna, you ready? He heard come from behind him. He turned to see Mira Jane, scowl on her face as she saw him look at her. What do you want, Blondie? Mira Jane, I want to come with you on this job, he told her. He wouldn't suggest it if it was just the older Strauss sibling, but the younger two were not ready for such a task. Not yet anyway. We don't need your help, Blondie. I'm plenty enough to kill this monster, she said haughtily. You may be, but your siblings aren't as strong as you. Are you strong enough to kill that monster and keep them safe? He retorted. Look here. You may be an S-class, but I've been one longer than you. I don't need your approval, she told him, rather upset with his opinion of her abilities. Let's go, Lisanna. Thanks for looking out for us, Naruto, but we'll be okay. Mirane is strong, Lisanna added as she ran off to follow her sister. Naruto didn't have his concerns quelled with the two Strauss girls' statements. He decided it would be worth following the siblings. He could be there if needed and stay hidden if he wasn't. It would be worth it to keep the three safe. He was finally getting settled. He didn't want to lose anyone else if he could help it. He had lost enough people in the elemental nations to last a couple lifetimes. With that he began to head off in the direction he could feel the siblings' energies coming from. Skip. It was rather late in the day. The sun had just gone down, and it was getting dark fast. Mary Jane and her siblings had found it after only a couple hours of tracking it. They spent the last half hour fighting it. And he was impressed with the three's teamwork. Mary Jane provided the firepower, Lysana and Elfman provided good support to their sister. And now the fruits of their labors lay in front of them. The monster defeated. Mary Jane looked exhausted, but overall fine. Elfman and Lysana barely had any scratches on them. Maybe he was being overly cautious. He'd have to apologize to Mira for doubting her. And with that Naruto began to sneak away. He wanted to be back home soon. It had been a bit boring today just shadowing the three. It perked up after they had begun their battle with the beast. Maybe he could find a place to eat before he got back on the train. Scream. Naruto whipped back toward the scream. He knew that voice. It was Mary Jane. But why? They beat the monster. Had they been ambushed by dark mages? Another beast? It didn't matter. He'd face it all the same. When he arrived back in the clearing, perched in a tree, he couldn't find Elfman. The beast had gotten back up. Had it done something to Elfman? He could see Mary Jane, wounded and laying on her side. Lysana was attempting to tend to her arm. It must have broken. The beast gave a mighty roar as he charged the two girls. It was that moment Naruto revealed himself, by giving a vicious kick to the side of the beast's face, sending it across the field. Are you two okay? Where's Elfman? He asked quickly, never turning away from the direction of the beast. And Naruto? Why are you here? Lysana stuttered out. He never got to reply as the beast came charging back towards them. It was angry now. He charged a Rasengan. He couldn't worry about this. He'd put this thing down so he could help Mary Jane and find Elfman. He jumped toward the monster, intent on burying his technique in the thing's face. Don't! That's Elfman! He heard Mary Jane scream. Naruto heard her, and hesitated in his attack, eyes wide at the revelation. Unfortunately, the beast used that and swatted him through a couple trees. It gave a roar of victory and set its sights on the two girls once again. Lysana stood in between her sister and possessed brother. Intent showed on her face she would not fight, but hopefully attempt to break the beast's hold on her brother's mind. The beast stalked toward her. It finally reached her and raised its large clawed hand. Big brother Elf. I know you're in there. You have to stop, come back to us. She pleaded. To the girl's credit, the beast had hesitated for a moment. Then as though it broke from its trance, it swung its claws at the girl. Before it could tear into Lysana it was knocked away by a tree, its large body disappearing through the trees before a large thud could be heard. Lysana! What are you doing? Don't just stand there, he'll kill you. Naruto yelled as he appeared from where he had been flung. He overall looked fine. His clothes were torn in various spots, and he had a large gash above his right eye, blood dripping down his face. Roar, go get Mary Jane and hide. I'll stop Elfman. Naruto told the younger girl. She ran off to do just that. Not used to the boy's angry side, the beast came through the clearing and stared him down. Alright big guy, this is gonna hurt you more than it's gonna hurt me, he said. Sorry in advance. Naruto then took off toward the beast. He needed to knock it out without killing it. And all he could think to do that was hit it. Hard. So, he did just that. The bit of sage chakra he gathered increased the strength behind his blow as he made contact with the beast's forehead. He could see the force make its way through its body as it rattled to its very bones. It skidded back a good distance before it had decided to try and make its comeback. It truly was a wild beast as it flung its claws at his with no rhyme or reason. Its claws leaving deep trenches in the ground and trees alike. Naruto was focusing on its head. Elfman would more than likely have a good headache when he awoke, but he'd live. With Mira and Lysana. Mirane, why is Naruto here? Lysana asked as she assisted the older girl with walking, careful of her broken arm. Mary Jane, for her part, didn't reply. She was lost in thought about the situation. Let me see your arm. The girl continued as she pulled out a spare shirt. She ripped it into strands to make a temporary sling for her sister. Don't worry Mira, Naruto will bring Elfman back, she assured her sister. Still, Lysana got no response. Suddenly, they both felt the ground shake, a loud thundering boom echoing through the forest. Be careful Naruto, come back Elfman, she said as she began to work on Mary Jane's injuries. With Naruto, damn Elfman, that thing is durable. Naruto spoke, catching his breath. He was sitting on the ground beside a now unpossessed Elfman. The boy was unconscious, but no worse for wear. The boy lay in a large crater, much larger than his possessed form. Naruto gave the boy a once-over, looking for any serious injuries. Finding none, he flung the boy over his shoulder and went in search of the Strauss sisters. When he found them, he saw Mary Jane leaning against a tree. Her arm was in a sling, but she was looking down. Naruto would have mistaken her for being asleep if he couldn't see her eyes look over in his direction. Elfman! Mirane, Naruto brought back Elfman. Lysana cheered, happy that this was behind them and her siblings safe. Seeing that Mary Jane was exhausted and injured, he made a clone and passed Elfman off to it. Lysana, go with Elfman to the train station. I'll get Mary Jane, he said softly. The girl nodded and followed after it. Naruto made his way over to the girl and received no indication that she knew he was there. She was deep in thought. Naruto looked over her body looking for extensive injuries. Finding none, he placed his right hand over her broken arm. His sun seal glowing as it fixed the damaged limb. She was out of magic, but he couldn't restore that. He had no magic to give. It would come back with rest anyhow. There. All better, Naruto said as he gave the girl a smile. Still no response. Sai, come on now, it's over. We gotta get you back to Magnolia. Let's not worry Lisana anymore, K. This time he received a nod, but the girl made no attempt to move. Naruto, never having received the gift of patience, picked the girl up. In a bridal carry. Still nothing. He began to make his way toward the nearest town. They could talk later. I'm sorry. He heard. It was faint, soft. But he had barely heard it. Looking down, he could see tears streaming down the beautiful girl's face. Her makeup ruined, streaking down her puffy cheeks. It's okay, you don't have to, he started. No. It's not okay. If I would have listened to you, we wouldn't be here. She choked out. I'm sorry I didn't listen. I'm sorry my pride got in the way. I'm sorry for ignoring you, and I'm sorry for being weak. Mary Jane, he spoke softly. You're not weak. Yes, I am. I used up all my magic fighting it the first time. If you hadn't shown up, Elfman would have killed us. I'm weak. That's all there is to it. I shouldn't have brought them. I'm so stupid. Even you think I'm weak. Why else would you have followed us? She added, continuing to degrade herself. Stop it. You're not weak. You're not stupid. You made a mistake. That just makes you human. It's okay to make mistakes. And I don't think you're weak. I was worried about you all. I didn't want you to lose your family if something had happened. He said, I never had any family. I'm an orphan. He told her. My parents died the day I was born and I never had any siblings. I was alone for a long time. I didn't want that to happen to any of you. You love your siblings, and they idolize you. They want to grow up and be strong like you, Mary Jane. So, you wanted to show off a bit for them. I didn't follow you because I didn't believe in you or thought you were weak. I followed you because I think they aren't ready. Did you know when you go out on S-class quests, they don't do any of their own? Naruto told her. They stay at the guild until you return. They've never been on a job without you that I've seen. They wait for me? She said in thought. I never knew that. That's why I followed you. They aren't ready for this kind of challenge. They have to grow on their own before they can keep up with you. He told her. She once again began to lose herself in thought. Mira Jane? He said, getting her attention. Mira. She told him. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Call me Mira. Okay. Mira. How's your arm? He questioned. It's okay. It doesn't hurt anymore. She said as she realized she could move it. She really hadn't noticed what had happened while she was lost in her own head. It's healed. Yup. Good as new. Naruto said to her with a smile. Naruto. Thank you? For everything. She said as she looked up at the blonde. Naruto looked back entranced by her words and the way her eyes shined in the moonlight. He felt her move closer towards his face. Mirane and Naruto are gonna kiss. They heard Lisana yell as they both turned to look at her. They hadn't even noticed her come back for them. How romantic. The hero kisses the girl under the moonlight like this. It's like out of a book. She exclaimed excitedly. Both young adults began to stutter and make excuses. Both denying the girl's claim. Oh, I ruined it, didn't I? Lisana frowned, seeing she had clearly interrupted the two. Lisana. You're supposed to be with Elfman. Not spying on me. Mira shouted embarrassed. I'm sorry I interrupted your romantic moment, okay? It's just the way Naruto's carrying you, the way you two looked at each other, and the full moon. I got excited, okay, the girl said before heading back towards the clone and her brother. It was then that Mira noticed the very intimate way Naruto was carrying her. Left hand under her knees right behind her back, her head nestled safely in his chest. He was warm too. No, just keep going. She told the blonde as she now refused to look at him. Luckily it was dark, or he would notice the atomic blush she was now sporting. Skip, Naruto and the three siblings had made it to the train station and had gotten tickets for the last train to Magnolia for the day. They got a private room to rest on the long ride home. The train had just taken off to its destination only moments ago. Elfman was still unconscious, lying on one of the room's tiny beds. Lisana, having finally settled after the excitement, had passed out along with her brother. This left an embarrassed Naruto and Mira who hadn't said much to each other since their not almost a kiss. Both sat next to each other wishing the train would magically arrive in Magnolia to spare them the awkward silence. You said you were an orphan? Didn't you have anyone to look after you? Mira said, wondering about the boy's past. Naruto, who looked even more uncomfortable now, shifted around. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have asked that. She said regretfully. No, it's okay. It's easier to talk about now. He reassured her. Where to begin? Well, I guess it's easier to just come out and say it. The day I was born, a demon attacked my village. My dad was the village leader. He went to fight the demon. The demon killed both my mom and my dad. They both died protecting me. He told her. I'm sorry, Naruto. She told him. But if they killed them the day you were born, how come it didn't kill you? Saishi's perceptive. Well, you see. They couldn't kill the demon. But they could seal it away. In a person. He started. A baby. He could see the look of recognition flash across her face. And no one really looked after me after I turned 5. I got kicked out of the orphanage. People didn't like me because of the demon. They, he said, thought you were the demon. Mira finished softly. Her mind racing as she compared Naruto's past and her own. They were so similar. When I was 6, Elfman was 5 and Lisana had just turned 4, our mom died. She was really sick. We were taken into the local orphanage. When I turned 9, a demon attacked our town. It attacked us. That was the day I discovered my demon takeover magic. But I couldn't control it. My right arm looked like a demon's. I couldn't turn it off. I hid it from everyone. But eventually they found out. She told the boy. When they did, they chased me out of the town. They thought I had become the demon that attacked them. We were so scared. Lost in the woods, 3 kids with no way to protect ourselves. She said. Eventually we were found by the master. He brought us to Fairy Tail and taught me how to use my magic. She finished. You're just like me. Naruto whispered. But Mira heard him. No. I had Elfman and Lisana. You had to go through life on your own. You're so much stronger than me. I wanted to quit so many times. If it hadn't been for those 2, I don't know what I would have done. Mira told him. You don't have to be alone anymore. You've got us now. Thank you, Mira. I've only met one other person who could understand what it was like to grow up the way I did. He told her. But that's another story for another time. They sat in silence for a few moments, thinking about each other's stories, feeling the repeated tremble of the train rolling across the tracks. Why have you been so nice to me? Mira finally questioned. All I've done since the day we met is be a bitch and put you down. So why? 'Cause we're guildmates. Comrades. It's not my place to judge who you are or why you do it. He replied. You're so kind and caring. You could have been spiteful, but you became you. She said, staring at the boy, hoping that staring at him might give her answers to her unasked questions. So, this is the real you, huh? Naruto said, out of the blue. I gotta say I like this Mira. Mira, having heard him say he liked her, took it slightly out of context, and had a slight pink cross her face. Gathering her emotions and steeling her nerves, she spoke. I like you too. Looking at him waiting for a reply. Naruto smiled back at her. Well, that's good. I didn't think you cared much for anyone outside your siblings. No, Naruto, I like you. She said, hoping he would catch on and she wouldn't have to explain. Unfortunately for her, Naruto was dense. He didn't pick up on hints like this, ever. Even after that priestess asked him to give her children. Yeah, I like you too, Mira. He said, confused by her emphasis on like poor Mira, she had fallen for an idiot. No, you dolt. I like you? Like a boyfriend. She said, irritated with his lack of understanding. Naruto couldn't find any words and just stared at the white-haired beauty. I've felt this way for a while now. It started when we met. I thought you were handsome. I thought you had a rockin' body when you got your guild mark. You beat Mai in a fight and I was mad. Mad that you beat me, yes, but more because I wasn't even close. But when you checked on me, the concern in your eyes. No one's ever been worried about me like that before. She confessed. Well, besides my siblings. This was the moment of truth for Mira Jane. She had bared her soul to Naruto. She told him of her past, which she was reluctant to tell anyone, mind you, and she had told him of her feelings, which she hadn't even told Lisana. And now she waited. Naruto, for his part, had never been confessed to like this before, so he had a blush that put his mother's hair to shame on his face. I like you too, Mira. When we met, you didn't take any shit from anyone. And you cared for those close to you. But now I realize it's because you had to be strong for your siblings. You had to take care of them and raise them. You're stronger than you give yourself credit for, Mira, Naruto said, telling the girl what he thought of her. And I think you're super pretty. Like the prettiest girl I've ever met. And you've got a rockin' body too, Mira, he said, embarrassed at admitting he had checked her out. Mira Jane blushed as well. And thinking for a moment, she decided to take a leap of faith. Leaning toward him, she wrapped her arms around his neck and drug him to her and kissed Naruto. Naruto, unsure of what to do, sat there wide-eyed as Mira withdrew her lips. Was that too soon? Mira asked. No, I just wasn't expecting that, he said as he looked at her. Her eyes showed how vulnerable she was. He hadn't answered her, hadn't accepted or denied her feelings. He could make or break her here and now. Luckily, as dense as he was, he had come to terms with his own feelings. He decided. He leaned forward, initiating a kiss of his own, placing his hands on the girl's hips. They sat there kissing for the next couple of moments, enjoying each other's lips. Both, inexperienced as they were not very good, but they could always practice with each other. It finally happened. Naruto and Miranne kissed just like that one book. Lysana said groggily. Both teens stiffened before separating to look at the girl. Lysana, still tired, fell back asleep without another word. Mira and Naruto looked back at each other before Naruto asked the question they were both wondering about. So what now? Well, I like you, and you like me. And I gave you my first kiss. So I guess that makes you my boyfriend. Mira said. If you want me to be your girlfriend, that is, she rebutted quickly, embarrassed by her assumption. I do. You're my girlfriend. He replied to her. Mira leapt forward to give the blonde another kiss, which he responded back with equal enthusiasm. YWNA, what a good sleep. Stretch, what did I miss? Kurama? Who's Kurama? Yendi. Chapter 4. Old friends, new relationship and an ace. Naruto had taken his girlfriend and her siblings to their home. After telling Mira he would be back in the morning to check on them, he himself headed for his apartment. He had to fill Kurama in on some things. Currently he was laying in his bed speaking with Kurama. So you mean to tell me that you pulled that? Kurama asked his keeper about his new girlfriend. He had been going through the blonde's memories of what had happened since he went to sleep. He had missed quite a lot. That's the thing you have a problem with? Me getting a girlfriend? Not being in another world, not being surrounded by magic or anything else? He responded, annoyed at the fox. Magic? Oh, that makes sense. About the only way your dense ass would get a girlfriend. Bet it took a shit ton to get one that makes the pink banshee you had a crush on look like a 2x4 in comparison. He continued to make fun of Naruto. Look, you asshole, let's talk about something other than Mira. Like maybe how we could get home, he asked as though that should be the obvious center of attention, and not his love life. Why bother? We're here now, no one can use chakra, so they can't use me as a weapon. Hell, they don't even know about me. Except that little girlfriend of yours, Kurama said, shoving aside the boy's concerns. Honestly, I'm just surprised you didn't screw this up and get yourself killed fighting the Uchiha brat. Hey! I beat him fair and square. Not my fault Setsu was a sore loser. Naruto said. How was I supposed to know he would try something? Because villains are all sore losers. Kurama said, matter of fact. But we are alive, so I guess you could have done worse. And the portions of the others are in here too. So, it's not like I'll be lonely in here. Wait, the others? Are the other Biju in here too? Naruto asked. Yup. Still asleep. They are only a portion of the real thing. So, it might be a while before they wake though. Kurama said. So does that mean I can use the sixth paths mode too? Naruto asked, mostly to himself. Yeah, you still have the sage's seal, don't you? Kurama said. How else did you think you regrew an entire arm? So that's how I did it. I mean, I know I healed Gai-sensei and gave Kakashi-sensei an eye. Not sure how I know how to do that though. Never even thought of being a healer. That's because you don't. When the sage gave you half his power, he gave you the knowledge of how you can use it. It's only because of your unique way of understanding chakra that allows you to do these things. Honestly, if you really trained it, and used those truth seeker orbs, you could do just about anything. And all the chakra affinities from all the Biju chakra you have. So, if I can do these things, then I can get us home. Naruto thought. Again. Why bother? You have a new life here. No one hates you here. You don't have to fight for their approval here. You even told that white-haired girl you were tired of losing friends. Here you're a lot less likely to lose them. Not like anyone here can pose a threat to us anyway. I mean, Gildarts was pretty strong. Naruto said weakly. Please. He might have a rather strong ability here, but back home we've seen bigger and better. And don't tell me you were going all out. I saw your memories, you barely tried. Even if he was at half power, you have a lot more to use than he does. You could wipe him off the face of this planet in an instant. Kurama told his Jinchuriki. I'm tired of fighting for my life and for my comrades. I don't want to hurt anyone if I don't have to. He explained. All the more reason to stay here. If you need more reason than that, I'm sure that demon girl can give you more incentive. Kurama said cheekily. Or do you really want to leave her now that you're together? Maybe it is better if we stay here. Naruto mused to himself. He lay there until sleep overcame him. Skip next day. The next morning Naruto made his way to the Strauss home. After knocking on the door, he was greeted by Lysana. Morning, Naruto. Lysana smiled at the boy. She let him in and led him to the living room, where he found Elfman, and no sign of Mira. Mirane's still asleep. She was pretty tired. I'll go check on her for you. And with that she headed off towards her sister's room. Leaving the two boys alone, an awkward silence was present without one of the younger boy's sisters around. Thank you? Elfman finally said, bowing his head. I'm sorry you had to save us, but I thank you for save it. You made a mistake. It happens. Could it have ended badly? Yes. But it didn't. All you can do is learn from it. Use it to become stronger. That way if it ever comes to it, you can save your sisters. Naruto encouraged him. You can be just as strong as Mira. It may take some time and effort, but you can do it. Thank you? Elfman replied. No one except my sisters have ever believed in me like that before. A silence once again came over the room. Before a thought came across the younger boy's mind. Wait, you called Big Sis Mira? You never call her that. Elfman stated confused. Oh. I guess I never noticed. Naruto said awkwardly. He didn't want to be the one to explain his new relationship to the boy. He wasn't even sure if Lisanna knew. She was half asleep when he and Mira finally kissed. Maybe she thought it was a dream? What? Both boys heard from down the hall. He's here already? The yelling continued before they heard a crash, then a door slam, and then the shower started. After a moment Lisanna returned to the room, a smile on her face, and took a seat next to her brother. Big sis is up. She freaked out and raced to the bathroom. You have quite the effect on her, Naruto. Lisanna told him. She's never acted like that before. Yeah, haha, weird. Naruto said, unsure of what to say to the two. Naruto finally sat across from the two younger siblings. Thank you for saving Elfman, Naruto. And thank you for saving me and sis. Lisanna said sincerely. Elfman looked away, still ashamed despite the pep talk Naruto had given him. After a couple moments of small talk, Mira had finally emerged from the bathroom, her hair slightly damp, and her normal black top and skirt on. She didn't say anything to anyone as she made her way into the room and towards Naruto. She then took a seat in Naruto's lap and gave the boy a quick peck on the lips. Leave it to her brash nature to just bulldoze through an explanation. Her siblings gawked at her, as she made herself comfortable. Naruto was embarrassed by the girl's actions, not used to the affection or role of boyfriend. Are you two gonna stare at us all day? She asked. Mirane you? Naruto. Lisanna finally managed to get out. Naruto and sis? Elfman said, unsure of how he felt about it. He decided rather quickly though. Naruto is a man, he said as he found he liked the thought of his older sister dating someone she very clearly liked. As long as she was happy. That dream wasn't a dream? Lisanna said, mostly to herself. That means Naruto's Mira's boyfriend. She had similar thoughts to her brother. Oh, big sis, we have so much to talk about. Mira found herself smiling at the two's acceptance of her relationship. They were the only two whose opinion had ever mattered. So, it felt nice to know they approved. Naruto sighed in relief. He was expecting to have an awkward time telling the two. Luckily his girlfriend wasn't much for subtlety. So, when are you gonna tell the guild? That stopped the couple. They had not thought of that. Telling Mira's siblings was one thing. The guild was another. Mira had a bad girl reputation after all. We haven't thought of that. Skip at the guild hall. Both the teens stood in front of the large doors of the guild, unsure of how to proceed. They had been standing here for a couple minutes in silence. Naruto, having been the first to run out of patience, took a page out of Mira's playbook. He grabbed the girl's hand and gave a reassuring squeeze. Then he dragged her into the guild, despite her protest. At first, as usual, the guild was rowdy. It was still early, so there hadn't been a brawl yet. Then slowly the guild began to notice the two teens enter, even more so their interlocked hands. Naruto, despite his earlier worries, had a large smile on his face. Mira, however, wasn't quite as over hers. She had her reputation to keep. And here she was blushing like a schoolgirl, holding hands with the thing causing her blush. The guild would never let her live this down. Wait, they're holding hands. Are they like together? Wonder who asked who? I bet you she went and punched him in the face before she told him she was her boyfriend now. Kana, I win. Told you those two would get together. One yelled out, further embarrassing Mira. Whoa. Naruto's so strong he tamed Mira Jane. They heard a flying cat say, hey. No one tamed shit. Naruto's my boyfriend, and if you got a problem with that you can say it to my face. Mira had yelled, finally having enough of the guild's antics. Most people took the hint and gave the two a wide berth as they made their way towards the Strauss usual table. When they did, Mira once again made her seat in Naruto's lap. Whoa. They're closer than I figured. So bold. Has she no shame? Mind your business. Mira yelled again. A large blush adorned her face. Well. I'm surprised such an indecent girl like you managed to get a boyfriend. Much less someone like Naruto. Came the voice of Mira's rival. Naruto, I'm surprised with you as well. I thought you had higher standards. Hey Urza, don't you have a date with your little book? Mira shot back, although much tamer than everyone thought she was capable of. Urza herself was taken back by the remark. The girl hadn't made a comment about her armor, or her being a prude. Hell, she didn't even start a fight with her like usual. She was unsure of what to think of the change in her rival. Maybe Naruto had a bigger impact than she thought on the white-haired girl. As the couple sat with the two younger Strauss siblings, talking about what to do with their day, they could hear whispers about the guild's newest couple. A couple of braver mages had actually stopped by to congratulate the couple. Including the one who had bet Kana the two would get together. Well, I'll be damned. A dumbass like you can get a girl. I figured you were too dense to notice girls. Kinda like a certain pink dragon slayer, and our dear Lisanna here, came an older voice. They all turned to see the ace taking a seat at their table. Gildarts Clive. Well, I gotta say, this was the last thing I expected to see before I left. Gildarts told the two. Left? Are you going somewhere? Naruto asked the man. Yup. Gonna go start back on that job I was on before a certain someone fell out of the sky and became my problem. Gildarts said, throwing a jab at the boy. Never been one for staying in one place for long anyway. Gotta be on my way soon anyway. The old man's been talking about retirement a lot lately. If I don't leave soon, he'll get ideas about me succeeding him. Wait, you were on a job when you found me? And you never finished it? Naruto said, honestly shocked by the man's carelessness. Yup. Though it's not like it was gonna get finished anytime soon. It was a 100-year quest. According to records, I'm the only one to attempt it in nearly 30 years. Gildarts informed the boy. A 100-year quest? Naruto asked. It's an S-class quest that's so difficult that no one has been able to complete it in 100 years. Or so they say. Gildarts said. The boy marveled at the thought, having never heard of such a thing in all the time he'd been in the guild. Look, kid. Me and the master were talking. I've decided to give up my title as the guild's ace. Gildarts said, dropping the bomb. The teens and the guild were shocked at the man's words. Everyone was eavesdropping, hoping for more ammo to use against the couple. What? Why? Gildarts isn't gonna be our ace? Why would you do that? Naruto for his part looked shocked at the man. But why? Well, you see, kid. I never really cared about titles or whatnot. Plus, I'm rarely here. I go out and do jobs and come back every couple of months or so. Hell, this is the longest I've been in the guild in years. And it was only because of you. He answered. Now that you're off your probation, and you can take on even me, and we both know you were holding back by the way, I've decided to give you the title of ace. What? But I haven't been here that long. And everyone looks up to you. Naruto told the man. Well, too late. Master finally agreed. I'm not one for hanging around. Everyone may look up to me, but this place changes every time I come back. New people, new faces. You're young, you've got a whole life to live, and you're a lot more social than me. You'll be here when the guild needs you. I have faith in that. Gildarts added to his reasoning, but Naruto said wide-eyed. Nope, no buts. You're the new ace of Fairy Tail. So, take care of yourself and the guild. Gildarts said as he got up and made way for the doors. And don't have too much fun with your girlfriend. He teased as he left the guild. And with that the guild exploded with questions and excitement. Congratulations are in order. An old voice spoke. The couple turned to the voice to see the small master seated on their table. Looking out towards the doors as Gildarts left. For more than one reason it seems. Master, why me? Naruto asked the old man. To be honest, I wasn't ready to let Gildarts give up his title just yet. But he gave several reasons. For starters, he's right, he is rarely here. We could need his help in a crisis. And with him being gone on this 100-year quest, who knows where he might be? He may not ever return. He said in seriousness. You are here, and you're clearly just as strong, if not younger than him. The reason we agreed was that Gildarts believes it possible he may never return, but that the guild needs an ace. One that's around more. He also believes that it's time for the next generation to begin to take over. And that portion of his role is over. So, he picked you. Master explained. And I agreed. The guild was silent. Their ace believed he might not return from the quest he was on. Just how difficult was this job that even Gildarts Clive couldn't complete it, and he still went back to try. So, congratulations Naruto, ace of Fairy Tail. Master said proudly. And congrats on your girlfriend Naruto. Don't go giving me any great-grandkids anytime soon now, you hear? Both teens now sported a blush so bright that they might take Urza's last name from her. Enough of this, I'm tired of you all teasing me. Mira said as she stood up and took Naruto's hand and dragged him out of the guild. Let's go Naruto, you're taking me out. Skip. Naruto and Mira were strolling through the town, hand in hand. After having a quick snack at a bakery, they were unsure of what to do now. It was both their first dates after all. So what now? Naruto asked his girlfriend. You don't know? What kind of a boyfriend are you? Mira asked the boy. Well, if you're so smart, what should we be doing? He asked her. Two don't know. You're my first boyfriend. You're the guy, you should know what to do. Mira said embarrassed she didn't know either. The two continued through the town until they noticed they had made it to the outskirts. With it being just a couple weeks into spring, everything was green and freshly bloomed. Naruto finally found out why the town was named Magnolia, with the fields of magnolias surrounding the town. I have an idea, Mira said. Naruto turned to look at her before he was tackled onto the ground. The two are now hidden in the fields of flowers. Mira now sat atop Naruto, straddling his hips. We could just stay here and make out, she said huskily. Yeah? That sounds good, Naruto said as he looked up at his curvaceous girlfriend. Mira leaned down and pecked him on the lips. And watch your hands. I'm not that kind of girl. Yet, she whispered to him. She then entangled her hands into his hair and began to kiss him. Naruto placed his hands on the girl's hips and kissed back. This went on for a moment until he felt Mira slightly grinding on him. One of her hands left his scalp and made its way to his uncovered chest. She admired those abs for so long, and now she was gonna enjoy them. Finally, she broke the kiss and sat up. You really haven't even tried to cop a feel, Mira said surprised. If I can enjoy your chest and abs, should get to enjoy something. She cupped her large breasts and lifted slightly. These are off limits. She teased and let them drop. Naruto watched as her luscious breasts bounced and wiggled in her top before settling. That was gonna live in his dreams for a while. And so much more. Gulp. That was hot. Naruto's blood was really pumping now. As he watched his girlfriend place her hands on top of his and move them onto her big, plump butt. There you go, now be a good boy and keep it below the waist, she said before she dove back to his lips. This time with even more vigor than before. Naruto for his part took her offer and let his hands roam over her wide hips and big, juicy ass. He gave a good firm squeeze to both cheeks and earned a sexy moan from his girlfriend. Her ass was so big and soft, he could feel his fingers sink into the plump flesh. Mira decided that was a good time to add in her tongue. That caught Naruto off guard as he was still exploring her behind. He enjoyed the kiss and let his instincts take over. He moved his right hand into the girl's hair and flipped them over. Mira broke the kiss and looked wide-eyed at her boyfriend. Naruto wasn't done as he followed her and reclaimed her lips. They started their third round and continued on for a moment. This time Naruto began to grind into Mira. Only now he noticed that a certain part of him had swelled from the intimate moment they shared. Mira shuddered as she felt him become more active. She broke their kiss again and pushed Naruto away slightly. Okay, that's enough. I'm not quite ready for that, she told him. She looked up at him and expected to see him look disappointed. Instead, she saw him nod slowly and got up. She especially noticed him readjust his pants before he helped her up off the ground. She smirked as she could see the large tent he was failing to conceal. Mama-like. Well, that was Naruto said, unsure of what to say to her. Hey, I told you I wasn't that kind of girl. But don't worry. When we do that, I'm gonna rock your world, she said, knowing why he was unsure of his comment. All night long. Just remember, these, she said as she pointed at his abs, are mine. Then she turned around and gave her ass a good smack. And this is all yours, she added with a wink, a saucy smirk on her face. Gulp. Good God in heaven, what had he done to deserve this? Mira was so damn sexy it should be a crime. He kept thinking about how he just watched her smack her ass and let it jiggle like jello. She was gonna kill him. Was it possible to die of pure raw sexiness? Oh well, he'd love every minute of it. And with that they headed back to the guild. Mira cuddled into his right side. He was shocked. He was unsure where to place his hand. He settled it on his new favorite place, on her ass. He gave the right cheek a good squeeze. Oh yeah, it would be a hell of a way to go. Jiraiya would be proud, that was for sure. Skip. When they reached the guild, Mira gave him a quick peck and told him she would see him later. He watched her run off towards Lisana before the younger girl was hauled off to who knows where. Naruto decided it wouldn't be a bad idea to search the job board, see what interested him. Naruto, he heard. Turning, he found Elfman looking quite serious. Hey, what's up? He said, unsure of the boy's emotion. Hopefully he didn't know about him grabbing a handful of his sister's fat ass. I want you to train me, he heard the boy say. Naruto for his part was shocked at the boy. The last he saw him, Elfman was still in his shell, upset with what had happened the night before. But it seems he had taken his advice and decided to learn from his mistakes. If I do, you have to commit. It'll be hard, hell, you'll probably hate me, Naruto told the boy, no hint of humor in his tone. I don't care. I almost got my sisters killed because I wasn't strong enough. I don't care what it takes. I don't care how long or how hard it is. I need to get stronger, so I can make up for my mistakes. Naruto looked into the boy's eyes to confirm the boy's resolve. He nodded when he saw no hesitation. Then rest up and be ready. I'll come get you first thing tomorrow morning, Naruto said as he made his way out of the guild. He'd have to get some things prepared. Oh, and don't eat anything, or you'll puke. And with that he left. You know, it wouldn't hurt for you to train too. We had to go through trial and error through a war when we synced. Kurama added. Yeah, I have a title and a guild to defend, Naruto said seriously. And, Chapter 5, Welcome to Fairy Tail. It had been a year and a half since Naruto had saved the two Strauss girls from their possessed brother. A year and a half since Naruto and Mira had started dating, and true to her word, when she was ready, she had rocked his world. All night long. She wasn't prepared for Naruto to be such a natural when it came to sex, and as it turned out, he was the kinky one. Men and women would die of blood loss if they knew even half the things she let Naruto do to her. It was easier to list the things she wouldn't let him do. In fact, he would come up with some outrageously raunchy things to do in the bedroom, and she would let him. Not to say she didn't enjoy it. Most of this stemmed from the fact that Mira, who would deny it, had in a way been tamed. She still retained her haughty nature, but had become more nurturing, often acting as the guild's mother hen, who would beat your ass when provoked. She also became the guild's barmaid while in between shoots. She went on jobs with Naruto on occasion, but had mostly foregone fighting. Most shockingly was her new title as Fairy Tail's cover girl. Mira had become Fiori top model and had done several photo shoots, most of which were bikini spreads. During this she found that Naruto was extremely jealous and territorial, which she loved. They had the best sex after her photo shoots because of it. It was one of the reasons she took him with her bodyguard and the sex. Despite her new centerfold job, she had drastically changed her wardrobe. She now wore a black dress that hugged the top half of her body and showed off her large breasts, and gave an ample amount of cleavage. The bottom half was a much looser dress, that hid her bottom half, going down to her ankles. Her feet were adorned with black 6-inch heels that, as Naruto had found out, did wonders in lifting her perfect, round ass. Around her neck was an orange ribbon tied in a bow. Naruto hadn't changed his outfit, and Mira was very against him wearing a shirt. She liked to show him off and make the other girls jealous after all. Today was a normal day in the guild. It was fairly quiet, with Natsu and Happy having been gone chasing down another lead on their search for Igneel. Correction, it was a normal day. We're back. They heard Natsu shout as he burst through the doors. The guild turned and found him marching in and towards the bar. An unfamiliar blonde following behind him. Mira-Jane, where's the master? We gotta tell him about Luigi here. Natsu said casually. It's Lucy. The blonde girl shouted. Master's visiting poor Yusuka. He should be back soon. Mira gave. Natsu shrugged and left to find Lee-sana. Wow, you're Mira-Jane. I follow all your Sorcerer Weekly interviews. You're Fiori #1 mage to have as girlfriend. The girl gushed. I'm Lucy, by the way. She said, still starstruck. It's nice to meet you, Lucy. I'm guessing if Natsu brought you here, you wish to join the guild? Mira asked the girl. Yes. I mean, yes, if that's okay. Is there like a test or something? Lucy told her. Oh, I wouldn't worry too much about that. Master will almost surely let you join. Mira told her confidently. Mira, we're gonna need to go on a supply run. These drunks have nearly depleted the reserves. And we're not supposed to go into the emergency stash. Came a voice Lucy was unfamiliar with. Naruto, who had come from the kitchen, in the back of the guild, was not expecting a new face. He took notice of the girl right away. It was hard to miss her when she had breasts to rival his girlfriends. Honestly, magic must gift girls here with banging tits. Most girls anyway. The blonde girl was dressed in a tight white shirt that lifted and presented her large breasts. A short, rather risque blue skirt that he was sure if a gust of wind came through he'd be able to see the girl's panties. She also had a brown belt that held a set of keys and a black whip. Coupled with a pair of brown heel boots. You're Naruto Uzumaki, Fairy Tail's ace and Fiori #3 top mage to have as a boyfriend. Lucy once again gushed at her fellow blonde. She didn't notice his eyes weren't on her face as she bounced up and down in excitement at meeting two of the most famous mages in Fairy Tail, and within minutes of each other too. Yes. It's nice to meet you, Naruto said to her, still not looking up from her bouncing chest. Mira, having noticed her boyfriend's wandering eyes, elbowed him in his side. I'm Lucy. It's nice to meet you, Naruto. Lucy said, having mostly got over her awe. Lee-sana. Mira called out to her sister. Can you take Lucy and show her around? Introduce her to the guild? Of course, Mirane. The younger Strauss said as she took the blonde away to meet the other members. Mira turned her eyes to look at her boyfriend. You sure gotta show. She said, eyes narrowed. I'm sorry, Mira. You know you're the only girl for me. It's just that I was surprised. They were rather big, and right there. Naruto said, hoping she wouldn't be too mad. HM? They were, huh? Mira commented. Mira then used transformation magic to change her face, hair and voice to Lucy's. Oh Naruto, I'll do anything to join Fairy Tail. Mira, Lucy said. She even clasped her hands and locked her elbows, pushing her large breasts up and making them look even larger. She then cancelled the magic and gave her boyfriend a naughty look before continuing to go about serving drinks, leaving a heavily blushing blonde who suddenly needed to head to the back. For a while, Naruto used his speed to appear in the back room. Having Mira as a girlfriend was a blessing and a curse. She was incredibly sexy and used it against him. He swore he walked around with a near-permanent hard-on. And this stunt with the new, incredibly busty blonde? Well, he hadn't been this worked up since Mira used her transformation magic in bed once to look like Urza. Not that he would cheat on Mira. It was just a kink of hers to role-play and dress up. Sometimes she was a nurse, a schoolgirl, a sexy teacher, or a model, whatever they could think of. This led to Mira role-playing as her rival one night. She got off on the thought of Naruto defeating Urza in battle, then having his way with her defeated body. Skipped later that day. So how did your last job go? The guild's small master asked, seated atop the bar next to the blonde ace. Which one? Asked the old master, watching the members of the guild interact. Mira weaving in between tables as she served drinks to the rowdy mages. The job to destroy the basilisk nest. I know how your bodyguard job went. You wouldn't stop grinning when you got back. I am jealous you got to see all those babes doing their photo shoots in person. But I don't need to know what you and Mira-Jane got up to afterwards. The master said, pervy old man. Don't even think about it. Think about the rest all you want, but Mira better not be on your mind. He growled out. The master just waved him off and gave a chuckle. It wasn't too bad. Those scaly bastards are a pain in the ass. Found out I'm immune to basilisk venom though. He said. Have you heard from that grandson of yours recently? He hasn't made an appearance in a bit. It has been a while. I'm guessing any day now. I expect you to behave while he's here, Naruto. The master said, giving him a stern look. You know I won't be the one to start a fight. But if he pipes up about Mira again, I'll knock his teeth out. Naruto said in complete seriousness. Naruto. Fine, I promise I won't start a fight with him. He finally relented to the small man. Makarov nodded his head. If he wasn't letting his bias for Laxus cloud his mind, he'd be honest that Naruto was the least of the concern. Laxus was confrontational the last year or so, even more so after Naruto had been named ace. He hadn't even considered his reaction to the news when he allowed Gildarts to pass on his title, lazy drunk. He even left before he could give the man the title of guild master. The two warring blondes would be that bastard's problem then. Oh, how he dreamed he could retire and leave these headaches to some poor sap. His mind returned to the issue revolving around his grandson. Laxus had been furious finding out someone had been named the ace instead of himself. The boy had eventually shifted gears, claiming if his rival blonde had been named ace, then it only made sense that he would become the new guild master. Ever since then Laxus had become less tolerable in the eyes of the other guild members. He was always berating them and telling them how once he was master, they'd all be removed from the guild if they couldn't keep up. Of course, the worst came of it when he had insulted Mira, stating how she was a piss-poor mage who stopped taking jobs to serve beers to drunks. Mira had ignored the blonde Dreyer. Instead, she had kept Naruto from starting a fight. That was until he told her she was a disgrace for allowing a monster to nearly kill her and her sister. Mira had stood shocked and upset at the jab. Naruto hadn't taken it kindly. He had marched right up to Laxus and would have started a fight the guild hall wouldn't have survived. If he hadn't intervened between the two, who knows what would have happened. He was afraid that Laxus would provoke Naruto again. He had lucked out the last time his grandson had stopped by. Naruto was out on another job, but this time he was afraid Laxus would escalate his challenges and insults. And Naruto would only sit back so long. He knew eventually the two would fight, he just hoped he could hold out for a while. If he was lucky Gildarts might actually be around to assist. He only had to make it a couple more months till the next trials and the former ace should be back. You know you could just let me slap him around a bit. He needs the attitude adjustment. Naruto said, breaking the man form his thoughts. Naruto, you know why I can't let you do that. Bullshit. You won't let it happen because he's your grandson. And I can admire your belief in him. But sooner or later he'd gonna do something you can't cover for, Naruto replied. Deep down Makarov knew Naruto was right. He just hoped he was wrong. I will not have any S-class mages fight while I am master. The man said deep in conviction. You keep saying that, but he's a big boy. He's an ass and needs to be taken down a peg or two. Enough. I won't hear any more of this, Naruto. The master yelled out. The guild stopped in their tracks looking over at the two. Mira looked worried toward her boyfriend and angry master. No. It's not enough. You can't keep covering for him. You can't keep us separated like children. Naruto shot back. I can and I will. Eventually it's gonna happen. You can't prevent it forever. You know it, I know it, and he knows it. He argued with the man. Makarov let a flare of his magic loose. The guild could be seen buckling under the pressure. Even Mira, while out of practice, was still in S-class, had trouble keeping up. Naruto didn't even bat an eyelash at the pressure, let loose a pit of his own power to equal out the old man's display of power. This had the effect of increasing the pressure on the others, who were having a hard enough time staying upright. Naruto cancelled his chakra and left. He knew they would never see eye to eye on this. He might as well release some of his anger in training. Makarov stopped his own as he watched the blonde leave. The guild staring at the man, hoping they might receive an explanation. They would not receive one, with Naruto, stubborn old man. Naruto said to himself as he went through his exercises. Look who's talking, brat. Kurama said, adding his 2 cents. You're on his side? You know Laxus is an ass, and you know we can take him. And the old man won't give up on his kin, much like a brat I know wouldn't give up on his friend. Naruto frowned but knew he was right. He didn't reply but continued his routine. Exactly. You never gave up on that brat. And the old man isn't gonna give up on his. Even when everyone you knew was ready to stop you, and the whole world wanted the Uchiha's head, you stood your ground against them. And now you're mad that this old man is doing the same for his own family. You're not gonna take my side on this, are you? On this? No, I am not. The lightning brat needs an ass kicking. And we could do it easily. Then why are you trying to talk me out of it? I'm not. I simply don't want you to place blame on an old man for something you yourself have done. That brat will challenge us. But the brat isn't stupid. He'll find a way to keep the old man from interfering. And when the time comes we will crush him. But don't blame the geezer for trying to delay it. No matter what you say to him, he won't allow his faith in the boy to falter. It's why he tries to keep you two apart. You're right. Naruto said. I hate it when you're right. You're so smug about it. That's because I'm an all-knowing demon, and you're a half-wit. I don't know what that white-haired girl sees in you. She's clearly the brains of the operation. Whatever you overgrown furball. You know damn well she sees a badass shinobi who used his charms to sweep her off her feet. Charms? I think you're giving yourself a little too much credit, Naruto. Turning, he found Mira coming into the clearing. He had just now realized he had said the last part out loud and at the wrong time. If I remember right, I told you I liked you and you were too dense to notice what exactly that meant. She teased him. Honestly, having a girl pour her heart out to you like that, and you can't even understand what she means. So cruel, to crush a maiden's resolve. Maiden? You were nothing maidenly back then, he said to her. Mira frowned and gripped his cheek hard. Oh, damn it, Mira. It seems you still don't understand a girl's feelings, if you're going to mock her. You're lucky you're cute. Otherwise, I'm not sure why I'd keep you around, she said, irritated with him, but I guess you are endearing, she said as she let go of his cheek. She watched as he grumbled and rubbed his sore cheek. But you wouldn't be my Naruto if you weren't like that. She smiled at him. She even moved his hand and placed a small kiss on his cheek. Naruto just pulled her into his chest, and the two stayed like that for a moment. Now, why are you and Master fighting again? She asked him. You know why, he said. Naruto, why do you keep doing that? You know Laxus is a sore subject for the Master, because Mira. Fairy Tail is supposed to be a family. He comes through here and berates everyone, makes them feel worthless and tells them the first thing he'd do as Master is get rid of them. It's not right. And what he said to you last time? I won't forgive him for that. My hero. She smiled. Still, we've talked about this. Yes, it hurt what he said. But Lisana and Elfman are fine. I'm over it, you helped me with that. No need to hold a grudge about it. This isn't a grudge. He shouldn't be allowed to do that. Master tells him to knock it off, but he starts up again after a day or two. Nothing changes, and nothing is going to change this way. Besides, he's the one looking to start a fight, and you'll finish it, she told him. But stop getting riled up about it, and stop fighting with the Master over it. Let Laxus do whatever he's gonna do and you can do what needs to be done. You're right. He kissed her. Why are you always right? Because I'm the brains of this operation, she replied with a sly smile on her face. HA told you, a little smug aren't you? Well, it's my duty as your girlfriend to keep your head on straight and keep you humble, she said. I wouldn't want you to get an ego, being the ace and having all of this to yourself, she said as she gestured to her voluptuous figure. Naruto gave a brief chuckle before he brought her back into his chest, using his right hand to tilt her face up to meet his as he gave her a kiss. This one much deeper and more emotion behind it. I love you, Mira. Yendi, Chapter 6, The Aizenwall Dilemma. Like most days, Naruto woke up bright and early with Mira Jane. They would get up and be at the guild long before anyone else to open. As Naruto lay awake, Mira laying on his chest, snuggled into his right side. His right hand wrapped around her body to cup her ass. As he lay there he thought about his future. Would he and Mira get married? Have kids? And how many? Would he be a good dad? It's not like he had any memories of his family life. Having never grown up with his parents, he didn't exactly know what to expect. Morning. He heard Mira say softly. How long have you been awake? Naruto looking down met his girlfriend's eyes as she stares up at him. A little while. Just been thinking. Oh? She said. Care to share? Just thinking about the future. Our future, he said rather vaguely. Do you want any kids? He asked bluntly. Mira for her part blushed at his blunt question, before controlling herself and smirking. How nefarious, we aren't even married, and you want to pump me full of your brats, and no, just wondering, just kidding. I guess one day, yes, I will want kids. Mira answered in a more serious note. I see, he said. Do you not want kids? Mira asked, slightly surprised. I don't know. Maybe, he said honestly. I didn't have a family life. So, it's new to me. I'm not sure I'd make a good dad. Are you kidding? You'd make a great father, Mira encouraged. I raised Lisana and Elfman, so I can help you along the way. Yeah, I guess I'd be able to lean on you, he said, convinced, more or less. Plus, I'd make a hot MILF. Mira teased. Naruto blushed once again. The thought of an older, more mature Mira Jane was exciting? Sexy? Mouth-watering? Yes. The answer was yes. Hee hee. Get up. We're gonna be late. Skip, later at the guild. Everyone, incoming. Urza's back. At that everyone began to panic and began to clean up and straighten out the guild hall. Why is everyone cleaning up? And they all look scared. Lucy asked. 'Cause Urza's coming, and she's scary. Happy answered. Yeah, she's a monster. Gray added. She can destroy mountains when she's mad. Natsu also gave his 2 cents. What these idiots mean is that Urza is somewhat a disciplinarian around here. And if they don't stop wrecking everything and making a mess, or goofing off, she gets mad. Naruto gave a much-needed explanation. Sometimes she goes a little overboard. Mira told the blonde girl. Thud, thud, even her footsteps are scary. That's her footsteps. Lucy asked, slightly scared of what was coming through the front doors. Thud, bang. Urza arrived standing in the doors she had thrown open. On her shoulder was a large horn. It was rather ornately decorated. She took a couple steps inside before she dropped it next to her. Bang. Hey Urza, what's that? This is the horn of the monster I slayed. The locals were so thankful that they decorated it and gave it to me as a gift. She answered the guild member with a slight scowl. Will it be a problem? No, it's just kinda big. came the weak, quiet reply. Urza began to look around the guild and proceeded to berate the guild members for their bad habits, and the filthy state of the guild. All the while Lucy began to become intimidated by the girl. Don't worry about her so much, she seems scary. But this is just her way of trying to make everyone better. To show she cares. Naruto told the girl. This seemed to help her anxiety of meeting the strong-willed redhead. I won't say anything for today. Honestly, you all give me such trouble. Urza finally finished. But you already said so much. Urza ignored the remark and headed to the bar. Naruto. Where is the master? I bring troubling news. Urza asked the ace. He's at the guild master's conference. Won't be back for a couple days. Naruto informed her. This is troubling. Nonetheless, we must act. I'm in need of your assistance. Urza stated seriously. The guild went silent. Urza never asked for help. It only reinforced how serious the information she had was. Oh? This should be good. Go on, Naruto replied. While I was on my way home, I overheard rumors of a dark guild having come across a dark magic artifact. Apparently it was stolen from the Magic Council's vault. Urza explained the situation. Whatever they got a hold of, they mean to use it on civilians. I need you to come with me at once. Sorry Urza, no can do. Naruto told her truthfully. What? Urza and the entire guild asked, shocked at his refusal. Look, this does seem like a problem. But Master left the guild to me. Everyone's safety is a priority. The guilds and the towns. If this dark guild comes here, no one will be able to defend it. But think of those whose lives will be ended if we don't stop them. Urza reasoned. Innocent men, women and children, just slaughtered at the hands of dark mages. And you won't help me? I cannot go and leave the guild unguarded. As much as I don't like it, it is my duty and responsibility as ace. But that doesn't mean I can't let you go empty-handed. Natsu, Gray, Lisana. You three will go with Urza and stop these dark mages. Lucy, you can go as support since you've been working with Natsu the last few days. Naruto hollered out to the respective mages. You may be ace, but that doesn't mean you can just go out barking orders. Natsu yelled out. Luckily Lisana shut him up rather quickly. Don't listen to him, Naruto. The hothead just doesn't like being told what to do. I'd be happy to help Urza. Gray said. Yes, I too will be happy to help. Lisana said. I see, thank you Naruto. I understand why you can't come with me. But I'm afraid I don't know this Lucy, Urza said in relief. Hi, I'm Lucy, it's nice to meet you. Lucy said she was rather embarrassed to be put on the spot like this. Lucy is a rather gifted newbie. She's been on several jobs with Natsu the last few days. She's not so much a front-lines fighter, she can provide good support from behind those who are more combat-oriented. Naruto added for the poor girl's benefit. I see, it is a pleasure to meet you, Lucy. My name is Urza Scarlet. I certainly appreciate your help, but if you're unable to hold your own I must insist you stay here. I won't be able to guarantee your safety. Don't worry about that. If she can survive a couple jobs with Natsu and come back unharmed, she'll be able to help you out. So, give her a chance and stop scaring her. She's still new, and you. Naruto intervened. I see. I apologize. I did not mean to discredit your strength. Urza bowed her head to Lucy. It's okay, really. I mean I am new, and you don't know me. All is forgiven. Lucy said to the redhead. Unsure of how to take her in. She had gone through various moods and roles in the last couple minutes. I thank you for your generosity, and will meet you all at the train station early tomorrow morning. Urza stated before she retrieved her horn and made her way to her home. Well, that was Lucy started. Yes, the tin can be a lot, especially for a newbie. Mira said to the bewildered girl. Tin can? Myra's being cheeky. She calls Urza that because of the armor she wears, and their rivalry. Naruto explained. Yeah, and because she has the sense of humor of one too. And she's a prude. Mira said. Do we want to go there? With how you were back then? Naruto chided the white-haired girl. I didn't hear you complaining. You were too busy getting a handful of my ass. I'm surprised you remember how I was back then. Mira teased. You came on to me. And you barely wore anything back then and look at you. Can you blame me? Naruto said in his defense. Lucy for her part blushed at the thought of the young couple being rather handsy. She went forgotten as they traded barbs back and forth. Come on Lucy, they'll be doing that for a while. Lisana came to the rescue. And with that she joined the rest of this emergency jobs team. And let's not forget it was you who jumped me first. Naruto said, remembering their first time. I did because I loved you. And you haven't kept your filthy hands off me since. I'm amazed I can remain awake every day since you keep me up almost every night. Much less walk. Mira added with a fake huff, looking away from him. Me? You're the one that dresses up and wants me to try new things. Naruto said, annoyed with Mira's accusations. You're like an actual sex demon. But it's my fault? Of course. You're such a perverted horn dog boyfriend. Making me do such filthy things. Mira again huffed. I've never asked you to do most of those things. You wanted to roleplay. Remember the schoolgirl outfit? Or how about the nurse? So you admit it. Making your poor sweet girlfriend do such embarrassing things for your perverted enjoyment. Making me dress up for you and say such dirty things. At this point all the male guild members had passed out with a nosebleed at the thought of what the two could possibly do behind closed doors. The females blushed in embarrassment and jealousy of Myra's gifted figure, as well as her relationship with the blonde ace. Later that day, the day had progressed rather peacefully for the normally destructive guild. Of course, this was due in part to the new gossip they had received regarding Urza's dark guild job and the ace's relationship activities. Mira and I, where's Big Sis? Lucy and I wanted to talk to her. Lysana came up to the blonde, who was behind the bar. Which was unusual for him. I am not sure. As she was around H here somewhere. Naruto managed to get out. I was just telling her that Mirane was almost the complete opposite of what she is now. How she's all nice and comforting, like a mother hen now. Lysana said to him, Mira Jane is so nice and sweet. I can't believe she wasn't like that only a couple years ago. Lucy remarked, why yeah, she changed a bit. As she still has her moments. As still a pain. Oh. Naruto yelped. The two looked at the boy confused. Sorry, stubbed my toe. Are you okay, Naruto? You seem off? Lysana asked. Why up? Feel great. Oh yeah, just great, really great. Just like that. Naruto practically moaned out. Just like what? Lucy asked confused. And nothing, I've just been lost in my head. Well, if you're sure, will you tell Mira to come see us when she comes back? Lysana asked the man. Yeah. Naruto moaned out. The two shared a look and left the blonde to his thoughts. Fuck Mira just like that. Here it comes. Naruto said quietly. Ugh, fuck that's good. A moment later he could feel Mira crawl to the back room to make her entrance. The guild none the wiser at what had gone on just under their noses. They were concerned with Naruto as he slumped over the bar. Mira made her way towards Naruto. You really made such a big deal about being the innocent one and then you do that? Under the bar? Naruto whispered out. Mira for her part, bent down and kissed Naruto's head and whispered, no one's going to believe you though. Mira and E. Over here. They heard from across the guild hall. Coming. You behave now, you perv. Mira teased. Behave? Me? You just sucked me off under the bar. Naruto said quietly. Mira just winked in his direction as she made her rounds. Naruto? Naruto for his part hadn't lifted his head from the bar since his explosive finish. He didn't even look up, choosing to remain in his position. Yes, Urza? You look rather unwell. You should go and rest. I can relieve Mira so she can take care of you. Urza stated with concern. Don't worry about it. Mira taking care of me is why I'm like this. He said without thinking. Mira? She's the reason you're in this state? Is she treating you poorly? If so I shall have words with her. No, she treats me well. Very, very well. But she's still some of the old Mira. A demon, I see. She was rather troublesome back then. Still is. Naruto said to the redhead. Still face down on the bar. She has mellowed out though, despite all that. Urza reasoned. Mellowed out. Maybe to you. She teases me more now than she ever did back then. Teasing? I guess I haven't noticed. That's because she likes to hide it. And she does it right in the open. And no one even notices. Naruto thought. What do you know of lullaby, Naruto? Urza changed subjects. Not much. An artifact the Magic Council had. I'm still not very familiar with certain things from this world. Mostly your relics. Unfortunate, I had hoped you knew what I should expect tomorrow. Don't worry about it. You and the others will take care of it. Thinking about it like this will only breed doubt. Naruto told her. Your faith in us is appreciated. I guess I should enjoy my time here for now. Tomorrow is going to be a challenge. Oh, you two seem awfully friendly. Mira said, coming back to her boyfriend to find him with Urza. Naruto had finally looked up and found the dark look she had in her eyes. Yes, I was asking Naruto if he knew anything about our enemies, or the artifact they stole. We could use any information we can get, Urza told the girl, oblivious of the look she was giving the two. Why yeah, Mira? I told her I don't know anything about it. Magical artifacts aren't my forte. Naruto said to her as she continued to glare down at him. I love you? He asked more than said. I love you too. Mira said. Urza, I think you should get better acquainted with Lucy before your mission tomorrow. It would do you all some good. Yes, a rather good idea, thank you Mira. Urza said as she made to look for the blonde. So, what did the stick in the mud want? Mira asked, still irritated with the blonde male. I told you she wanted info on the Dark Guild and the relic. Naruto said to her. Honestly, you're pretty jealous of her. You know I wouldn't even think of cheating on you, and you're not jealous? If looks could kill the crew of my last photo shoot would be Ash. Mira said blandly, and I seem to recall from our last roleplay, you were rather into the idea of pounding Urza silly. Yeah, but it was still you. You may have changed your face and hair, but it was you. It's one thing to pretend, another to actually do it. And it was your idea. Doesn't mean I can't mess with you. Mira said, breaking out into a grin. And you should get yourself together. You look like something sucked the life out of you. Skip, couple days later. It had been a couple days since the new Team Natsu had embarked on their quest. They had stopped Eisenwald and destroyed Lullaby, saving the guild masters in the process. They, along with Master Makarov, had gotten sidetracked returning to the guild. They had just arrived and looked rather disheveled. We're back. Naruto, where the hell are you, you bastard? Let us do all the hard work while you sit back and make kissy face with Mira. Natsu yelled out, looking for the ace. They went out to get more supplies. They should be back soon. Came the voice of Levi, the short, blue-haired girl watching the bar for Mira. Just you wait, you bastard. When you show up, I'm gonna kick your ass all over the place. Natsu yelled out in frustration. When who shows up, you're gonna what? Came from behind the pink dragon slayer. Naruto, you let us go on that job alone, just so you could sit here and be lazy. They weren't even that tough, and you didn't even help. Natsu raged out, flames spewing from his mouth. You owe us for your bullshit excuse. It wasn't an excuse. I was needed here, and you all could handle it. Plain and simple. That's enough, Natsu. Naruto has responsibilities to the guild. If he didn't come, it was because he was confident in our abilities, Urza said, having had enough of the slayer's whining. No. He owes us for being a lazy bum, and I want to fight. Natsu declared. So much noise for a bunch of weak ants. Still all bark and no bite, there Natsu. Laxus, having returned to the guild while Naruto had been out, was sitting up on the second floor, looking down upon the rest of the guild. Laxus. Come down here and say that to my face. Natsu roared. Why don't you come up here? Laxus taunted. Natsu attempted to do just that. Until a hand came down on his shoulder. Don't let him get to you, Natsu. He's trying to rile you up. Naruto told the younger boy. Oh, our esteemed ace is here this time. Last time I stopped by you were out. What, am I too much for you, that you had to hide from me? Laxus told the other blonde. Naruto didn't bother to retort. Mira latched onto his arm, knowing at some point the two would try and fight, best to try and keep them from doing so. And our little cover girl. Need to hide behind her, Naruto. Not a good look if you asked me, the guild's ace, hiding like a coward. Laxus warned Makarov. Enough. Ignore him, Naruto, let's go put these groceries up. Mira attempted to pull him away. Laxus, seeing he wouldn't get a rise from the shinobi by insulting him, decided to up the ante. It was time they had their fight to determine the real ace of Fairy Tail. Yes, go, follow the failure to go cook and clean. At least she knows her place. Watch your mouth, Laxus. Naruto growled out. Oh? Hit a nerve? Laxus smirked. Let's go, Naruto, don't listen to him. Mira pleaded. Mira-Jane, why don't you be a good little trophy girl and let the men talk? Not like you're good for much else anyway. You were a shit mage then and a shit mage now. Laxus snarked at her. Laxus. Naruto gave a silent warning. Naruto, ignore him, you promised you wouldn't fight him. Makarov spoke to the blonde. But I guess if you hoard yourself out to me I'd stay at the guild more too. That did it. Naruto let his power loose, his eyes turning red as he glared up at the blonde. Now that's more like it. Laxus roared as he disappeared in a bolt of lightning and appeared before the blonde Jinchuriki. Sparks and stray bolts arced off of his body. Enough. There will be no fighting between S-class mages while I am here. Makarov roared, growing in size and flexing his own power at the two blonde powerhouses. You should stay out of this, old man. This has been a long time coming. Time for me to claim what's mine. Laxus told his grandfather arrogantly. For once I agree with this asshole, we're just delaying this. Best to get it over so I can wipe that smirk off his face. Naruto told the master. Absolutely not. You two will not fight. Laxus, stop trying to start a fight. Lucked out again. Don't worry, you and I will have our battle for the title of Fairy Tail's strongest. Just you wait. The old geezer can't protect you forever, Laxus said as he struts out of the guild. Naruto, for his part, had punched a hole through the bar. Mira attempted to calm him, to little effect. Why do you keep allowing him to do that? He asked. Don't concern yourself with him. Let me handle it. The small master said finally. But you're not handling it. He walks through here, talks down to everyone and acts like he owns the place. You should just let us get our fight over with already. Naruto said. Enough. We will not go down this road again. You and I will not see eye to eye on this. Accept that and let it go. The master said. Come on, Naruto, let's sit and forget about all this mess. Mira said as she dragged him to Team Natsu's table. The other mages are making their way as well. As they sat, Mira wrapped her arms around his torso as she sat on his right. Naruto used his own to hold her close to him. So, who was that? Lucy asked, breaking the tension. Laxus Strayer, the master's grandson. Mira answered the girl. Grandson? But they're so different. They aren't anything alike. Yes, grandson. But Laxus wasn't always like that. He was nicer back then. I'm not sure what caused his change in attitude, but it happened out of the blue. Only Master knows why he's like that now. Urza explained to the girl. Why does he want to fight you so bad, Naruto? Lucy asked the boy. He's a jealous prick. Naruto growled out. Mira pinched his side and told him to be nice. He thinks he should be ace. Ever since I've been at the guild, Laxus has been like that. swearing up and down that he will inherit the guild one day. He comes here and berates everyone and calls them weak, telling everyone their days here at Fairy Tail are numbered. Naruto said, and when the old ace gave me his title, well, that only made him worse. He's been gunning to fight me since. Worse, he knows I won't fall for his taunts, so he berates Mira instead. Naruto growled, it doesn't bother me, so don't let it bother you. Mira spoke to the irritated boy. No, he doesn't get to walk in here and talk to you like that. You aren't a failure, or a trophy, or a whore. Next time I swear I'm gonna. He never finished, as Mira gave him a kiss. My hero, always protecting me. But enough. Let's not ruin the rest of the day. Mira told him, you're so devoted to Mira, Naruto. I wish I could find a boyfriend like you one day. Lucy gushed at the two. Yes, it is sweet how much you care for each other. It's like in my books. Urza agreed. Oh, it's much more like your books, Erza. Mira teased the redhead. Urza simply blushed and looked away without a reply. Enough of the lovely dovey crap. You owe me a fight. Gah! Yelped Natsu as Lee-sana grabbed him by his cheek. Enough, Natsu, let Mirane and Naruto be. I think it's sweet, she said to the two, irritated by Natsu's behavior. Natsu's whipped. Came a cheeky remark from a flying feline, now that I think about it. You and Natsu have never fought before. It certainly would be interesting to see, Urza said, rather curious about the matchup. There's no point, the brat's got nothing on me. Shinobi are in a class of their own. Naruto stated. Mages aren't anything to laugh at, Naruto. Urza told him. No, some of you have rather interesting abilities, but honestly, there's nothing you all can't do that I can't do myself. Shinobi are bred for war. You all are so happy-go-lucky. This Eisenwald thing had been like the most stressful thing you've all done in a while. Naruto said matter-of-factly. Hell, by the time I was Natsu's age, I fought in a war. Naruto added. It looks like you're more like Laxus than you realize, Naruto. Looking down on us like that. Gray said. Yeah, I'd like to see you do half of what we can. You blonde bastard. You know they're right, Naruto. You won't even spar with them. Always claiming there's no point. It is kind of Laxusy. Mira chided. Do you think us weak, Naruto? Urza challenged. Because I think I should challenge you to defend our honor. Hey, I'm not looking down on you, I'm just saying we ninja are built different. Naruto said as he looked around. He took note of the glares everyone was giving him. Even Mira, prideful bunch Fairy Tail was. Fine, I'll show you. I can do anything you all can do, or similar. Naruto challenged. And you can fight us too? Natsu roared. About time we got a shot at you. Gray said equally excited. You two are gonna need some help. Might as well let Urza in on the fun. You need it. Naruto said. I accept. Urza said. Hey! I don't need your help. Natsu yelled out. Natsu, remember? Naruto fought Gildarts and didn't look winded. We've never even seen him go all out. The three of us might just be able to force him to try. Urza calmed the boy. Let's go. Skip, outside the guild. Alright, show me what you got so I can prove I can too. Naruto said. Gray stepped forward and used his ice make to create a large iceberg in the center of the field. With a smirk, he told Naruto to give it a shot. Naruto simply channeled his own wind chakra and a bit of Isabu's own to mix the two. Not quite an iceberg, but he managed a small blizzard. Gray frowned at the thought of Naruto being able to mimic his magic. The other members of the guild shocked at what he could do. Let's see you do this. Natsu roared out. Fire Dragon's Roar. The fireball Natsu released melted the snow and a vast majority of the iceberg Gray created. Naruto was impressed by the heat. Noting the field was dried up, Naruto flashed through a couple hand signs before he let out his own technique. Fire style, Great Fireball Jutsu. Naruto shot his own fireball straight into the air. See? I told you. I can do just about anything you can do. Naruto said. Then let's try something a little harder. Urza said as she used her equipped magic to summon two rather large silver swords. Urza shouldered one and gave a satisfied hum. Naruto simply grabbed the scroll in his thigh pouch and summoned a rather plain-looking sword. See? Shinobi are just the best. Naruto said. Let's see you back it up. Urza said as she charged forward, shocking everyone by her eagerness to test the ace. Natsu and Gray went to back her up. Fire Dragon's Iron Fist, Ice Make, Hammer. Naruto simply jumped back to avoid the two elemental attacks. Urza, however, was upon him. She began to send a barrage of attacks using the sword she summoned. Naruto used his own to block several strikes aimed his way, dancing around the others. Not looking worried as he was flanked by Natsu, his fists aflame as he gave his own frenzy of attacks. Naruto simply used his sword to bat away Urza's incoming attack, the force knocking her off balance. Spinning, he let his heel meet Natsu's face as he sent him flying. Naruto found his pivot foot frozen in the ground courtesy of Gray. Then the ice engulfed him completely, giving the three mages to regroup, knowing the ice prison wouldn't hold the ace for long. Naruto in a display of power shattered the ice with nothing but the sheer force of his chakra. At that time a dark magic ball slammed into Naruto's unprepared face. The guild shocked as they turned to see Mary Jane, in her Satan's soul form smirking in the blonde's direction. I couldn't let you have all the fun, now could I? I do still owe you a rematch for that defeat years ago, Mira said confidently. Let's see you copy this. Naruto, not put off by his challenge, began to channel Kurama's chakra. Ready? He asked seemingly no one. Always. Only Naruto heard the reply. The guild was shocked by this rather powerful display of dark energy. Enough! Came a voice. Stop this nonsense at once. The fighting mages and one shinobi stopped their actions and looked over to see a frog man, surrounded by a small garrison of magical knights. I am here on behalf of the Magic Council. Here with a warrant for the arrest of one Urza Scarlet, said the humanoid frog. On what grounds? Came the voice of the master of fairy tale, not the kind old man everyone was used to. For the destruction of the meeting hall in Clover Town, as well as the destruction of Magic Council property. This caused a stir throughout the members of Fairy Tail, most beginning to become defensive of their fellow member. This caused the Magic Knights to become defensive as well. Enough! I will go to see the council. Came the voice of Urza. Urza, you didn't do anything. That big demon crushed the meeting hall, not you. Lucy said to the older girl. If that's true, you won't be taking Urza. Naruto said as he turned to the now frightened frogman. Stop! I will go. Fairy Tail is on the council's radar as is. No need to cause us more issues, Urza said finally. Looking towards Makarov, the old man gave a brief nod, even if he wasn't happy with it. The guild watched as Urza left with the Magic Knights and the representative in silence. Today didn't seem to be anyone's day. Yendi, Chapter 7. What? What do you mean they took an S-class job? Makarov yelled. Last night I saw a blue cat come in and take it. Didn't think nothing of it. A mangy cat playing with some trash. Didn't see it worth my time, Laxus said with an indifferent shrug. Laxus. You knew that was happy, Mira said angrily. Laxus. Go get them this instant. Makarov said, angry at the foolish mistake his children had made. Sorry, old man. I got better things to do, Laxus said as he strolled out of the guild. Mira. Where's Naruto? Makarov asked. He's picking up the guild's monthly liquor delivery. He should be back soon. Mira informed him worriedly. Don't worry, master. I can go get those three. I'll even be back by the end of the day. Gray said to the old man. Yes. I can go too. I'll bring back Natsu, chimed Lee-sana. Lee-sana? Mira interrupted. I'm going Nachan. This time is different. I can do this. Lee-sana told her. Go. And bring them back immediately. And don't fall for their antics. I'm serious, you two. Makarov told the two mages. Gray and Lee-sana left the guild after. Master! Mira exclaimed angrily. Now isn't the time. Your sister is stronger than them. And they won't be doing the job. They should stop Natsu and Lucy and Harjun before they depart. Far from the island, Makarov said. And if they don't return by tomorrow morning, I'm sending Naruto and Urza. No need. If they aren't back, I'm going with Naruto. Mira said with conviction. You're going where with me? Naruto said, walking in the guild. A large barrel over his shoulder. A dozen clones followed after, a barrel under each arm. Natsu, Lucy and Happy stole an S-class job. Gray and Lee-sana went to try and stop them. Mira informed her boyfriend. If they aren't back tomorrow, we're going to get them, those idiots. How could they be so stupid? Naruto said. You know Natsu wants to prove himself. He's a year younger than us and not an S-class. He's frustrated. Stupid, but frustrated. Mira told him. The kid's never gonna be S-class if he keeps it up. There's more to it than being strong. Then maybe it's up to us to teach him that. He just sees Urza, Laxus and me as strong. S-class, something he strives for. Hell, you're our ace. And he thinks he's so far behind. If he'd stop and think some, he'd be an S-class. At least Gray thinks. He doesn't have the raw power Natsu has, but he uses his own better. Naruto sighed. Naruto! Came a voice. Turning, they found a frowning Urza walking their way. I've heard that Natsu and Lucy have gone on an S-class job. We must go get them at once. Urza stated irately. Master sent Gray and Lee-sana to try and stop them. If they aren't back by morning, Mira and I are going to get them. Naruto told her. I don't like this. But if that is Master's decision, then I will wait. I will accompany you if they don't return. Urza stated. We don't need your help, Urza. We can handle it. Mira said to her rival. Nonsense. Those two are my teammates. I take responsibility for their actions. It's up to me to retrieve them. Urza said. All the more reason you should stay. Mira replied. I insist. Urza retorted. I insist you stay. Mira came back. I insist you're wrong. Urza said, eyes narrowed. Enough, you two. We will all go. Naruto said. Let's hope Lee-sana and Gray can stop them. If not, be ready to go nice and early. Both girls nodded, refusing to look at each other. Urza turned to leave and got her things in order. Mira turned and narrowed her eyes at him. We don't need Urza, Naruto. You and I are plenty to go get them. She's worried about them, Mira. She's only acting like that because she doesn't know how to express it. And you aren't helping, he said to her. Myra's cheeks puffed out as she turned away from him. They better be here by tomorrow. Or so help me. She trailed off. Skip next morning. The next morning came, and to everyone's disappointment, the 4 mages and 1 cat were still gone. Having met at the Gildarts, Mira and Naruto were ready to leave. Mira adorned her old outfit rather than her dress. You both ready? Naruto asked his female companions. Receiving a nod from both, Mira latched onto his arm. Good, grab onto me, Urza, and be ready. You're probably going to puke. Urza looked confused before doing as he told her and grabbed his shoulder. In a flash of yellow, they were gone, leaving the rest of the guild shocked. Harjin, BWHW, what was that? Urza said, having collapsed to her knees and had her stomach empty itself onto the ground. It's my Haration. The Flying Thunder God technique. It was my father's. It took me a while, but I finally figured it out. But we're in Harjin. We have to catch up to them quick. No telling what could happen to them. Naruto informed her. Why aren't you vomiting, Mira? Urza asked, irritated by her rival's lack of sickness. Mira hummed happily. This isn't my first time. We travel this way all the time. Enough, let's spread out and see if anyone has seen them. I'll send a clone to get a boat ready. They probably already left for the island. Skip, you know this would be rather romantic if it wasn't for a certain stowaway, Mira said as she cuddled Naruto, looking out into the vast ocean. This isn't the time for your fantasies, Mira. Urza growled out, as she steered the boat. Those 4 are in for a world of trouble when I find them. Don't tell me what it is and isn't time for. I told you we didn't need you. Besides, what else would you like us to do? It's gonna be a couple hours before we reach the island, Mira argued to the redhead. We should remain focused on our objective. It's vital that we stop them before they get too deep and encounter something they can't handle. Urza lectured. Oh please. I know what we came out here to do. But sitting around being a prude like you isn't going to make us get there any faster. So let me enjoy my Nara time, Mira said, irritated. She leaned back into Naruto's chest. Enough, let's just get some rest. It's a long ride and who knows what we are going to encounter when we get there, Naruto told the 2. He wrapped Mira up and kept her back pressed tightly to his chest. Both girls silently agreed as they ignored each other. Urza continued to helm the boat, and Mira snuggled into her boyfriend. Skip on island. Lucy ran through the thick jungle as she was chased by the giant golem of Sherry, a magic doll mage. Her celestial spirits neutralized left her basically defenseless against the stone golem. Not to mention the giant rat. Taurus had nearly pummeled her. She needed to come up with a plan. Running out of the jungle and coming to a stop at the beach, she thought of something. Grabbing a specific key from her waist, she waited for her enemy to emerge from the jungle. Finally done running? Came the voice of one Sherry Blendy, the pink-haired mage riding atop her magical creation. No, I just needed a moment to think, Lucy said confidently. She thrust the key into the shallow water. Open gate of the water-bearer, Aquarius. A large magic circle appeared under Lucy. In a flash of light, a blue-haired mermaid holding a water jug was summoned. Ha! You want to try that again? I'll just use your spirit against you. Sherry laughed. Now you there, wipe out your own mage, said Mermaid's beautiful and serene face gained an extremely agitated look as she glared at the blonde. Then she shifted her gaze at the pink-haired mage as she registered her words, and feeling an odd pull that was trying to compel her to do as such. Don't tell me what to do. I was gonna wash this bimbo up anyway, the mermaid shouted. As she did so, she lifted her jar and wound up, then she released the tidal wave that wiped out both mages and the stone golem. When the water receded, both mages laid on the shore, having been knocked around under the immense current. Lucy was still conscious, having been on the receiving end of Aquarius magic and anger before. Her opponent could not say the same. The woman laid unconscious on the sand. Is that what you summoned me for? A weak girl like that? Aquarius asked, irritated. Thank you, Aquarius. You really saved me, Lucy said honestly. Aquarius was about to retort before she felt a couple presences behind her. Turning, she found a blonde man walking on the water towards her and her summoner, a white-haired woman flying above him carrying a red-headed knight. Naruto, Mira and Urza. Lucy said she was happy to see them. Oh my. Hello, handsome. You know my summoner? I'd be more than happy to give you some special attention. I wouldn't be opposed to be summoned more often if I got to see you, came the suddenly sweet and husky voice of Aquarius. Said Mermaid, sliding up to Naruto. Hey, back off, fish face. That's mine, came a voice. Aquarius shifted an unimpressed look towards the white-haired woman. Fish face? This coming from a winged tramp? Aquarius shot back. Don't make me laugh. Fly away, little girl. Let a real woman work. Little? Oh please. Nothing little about me, Mira shouted, her hands roaming her large breasts. Though it was a long trip, I could go for sushi. Bring it on, you little. Aquarius disappeared before she could finish, Lucy closing her gate before a fight could break out. What are you three eep? Lucy said as she noticed the glare given to her by Urza. We came to bring you back to the guild, so you can receive your punishment for taking an S-class quest. came the redhead's reply. Urza then had Lucy tied up before anyone could stop her. Mira felt something else required her attention more at the moment. So you were just going to stand there while that hussy felt you up? Mira glared at Naruto. I didn't know she was going to do that. Naruto defended. Plus I didn't want to be mean. She's Lucy's spirit. That basically means she's a part of the guild. Please. You just like the attention. Am I not enough for you? She's half fish. Which means she's only 1/100th of the woman I am. Mira said angrily. Mira later. Lucy might need some help. Naruto said, noticing Urza's rough treatment. Turning she saw the redhead tying up the blonde. Urza. That's enough. Naruto told her. They broke the rules. They deserve their punishment. They could be dead right now. They will get their punishment. But you are not the master. Our job is to bring them back. So enough. Naruto said as he walked forward and cut Lucy free. Urza didn't take too kindly to that. You aren't the master either. I am simply keeping her from running away. You are being too soft. Urza said as she leveled a glare at the male blonde. Lucy! Lucy, I was so scared. I lost Natsu. Came the screaming voice of Happy as he flew towards the celestial mage. Seeing an angry Urza as well as Naruto and Mira, he turned to flee. He didn't make it far, as Mira caught him by his tail. Oh no you don't you little furball. She said, Natsu help. Mira's got me. She's all scary again. Happy yelled, tears flowing down his eyes. Mira used some of the leftover rope to lasso Happy and keep a leash on him, and I suppose Mira is wrong for that. Urza said to the ace, know that I'm good with. Happy is more likely to run off than Lucy. She's a smart girl. Happy's kinda dumb. Naruto told her. Thanks Naruto. Lucy said quietly, oh no. Don't get me wrong, you're pretty smart. But you're just as dumb as Happy. Naruto told her. Why are you here Lucy? You and the others aren't ready for this. Lucy simply looked down. She didn't have a good answer for him. Seeing he wouldn't get an answer to his question he moved on. Where are the others Lucy? We got separated. Gray went after another ice mage. Natsu went off on his own. Lisana went after him. She told him, well let's get to it. There's a village on the island. Lead the way Lucy. We'll look for the others once we get there. After a short walk through the dense jungle they came across a small village. They were greeted by the locals who recognized Lucy and ushered them to a hut. Inside they found a slightly injured Gray. Lucy you're alright. I see the others came after us. Gray said. With their help we can finish that demon off. We will be doing no such thing. We will gather the others and be on our way back to the guild. Urza barked. Urza look, we did something stupid. But these people need our help. There's a demon on the island and, I don't care what is on the island. You all broke the rules and took a job you're not ready for. You should count yourself lucky if the master doesn't expel you from the guild, Urza said angrily. Urza you can't be serious. We are here. A dark guild is trying to revive a demon. And you want to leave them to themselves? Gray roared. A dark guild and a demon? Naruto spoke up finally. Yes. It's Deloria. One of the demons created by the dark mage Seraph. It's just like Lullaby Urza. We have to stop it. Gray shouted. Enough. You all aren't S-class. You aren't cleared for this job. You accepted it illegally. We will return to the guild and someone who is capable of taking this can come and do this. Urza shouted back. I won't abandon these people Urza. You can do whatever you want, I don't care if I get expelled. I'm doing this. With or without you. Gray steeled himself against the redhead. Stop. Gray tell me more about this demon. Naruto said. Naruto. You can't be serious. We cannot finish this job. It wasn't properly accepted. The master said we any Urza said shocked by the ace's question. I will deal with the old man. Now enough of this. We are here and these people need help. If a demon from the Book of Seraph is going to be revived then we need to stop that from happening. It would look bad if 3 S-class mages left a job like this unfinished, proper or not. Naruto explained. Besides, no one's more suited to defeating a demon more than me and Mira, damn right. But if you're scared Urza, you can go round up the others and we can go hunt a demon. Mira said cockily. Urza glared at the two. She conceded that they were right, but she was still unhappy about it. Fine. We hurry up and finish this then we return to the guild. Agreed. Now Gray, where did Lisana and Natsu go? Naruto asked. They went off on their own. Natsu went to try and stop the ritual to revive Deloria. Gray said. There's a temple on the far side of the island. That's where they went. Good, let's go. Lucy, Gray, Urza you guys handle this dark guild. If the demon shows up me and Mira will deal with it. Naruto said, forming a plan. The demon is encased in ice, below the temple. The leader, Lion, wants to revive it. We both used to be students of the same master. She died sealing Deloria away. We can't let him do it. I won't let him make her sacrifice meaningless. If you both were her teachers then why would he want to undo the seal? Naruto asked. He himself having experience with seals that required a life as a sacrifice. He wants to unseal it so he can fight it himself. So he can prove he can do something she couldn't. He thinks it's how he proved he surpassed her, Gray said, angry at his fellow pupil. Well, that's dumb. Mira snarked. Both Urza and Lucy smiled to themselves. Their own egos were boosted by the comment. Didn't you just argue with a mermaid like 10 minutes ago? Naruto deadpanned. Mira blushed and looked away. Regardless. We have a job to do, agreed. Let's go. We still need to find Natsu and Lisana, Urza said, stepping forward. The group of mages made their way out of the village and towards the temple. After a couple minutes of hiking, they saw the temple in the distance before a tremble rocked the earth. We need to hurry. Mira, fly ahead and find those two. When you throw this, Naruto said as he gave her an odd 3-pronged knife. She nodded and flew off. Let's go. We can cover more ground together. The group proceeded to run toward the temple. Arriving, they found a lone white-haired man waiting for them. Lion! Stop this. You wouldn't want this. Gray roared. Go on ahead. I have to do this. For my master. Naruto nodded before he felt a pull. Make sure you win. Grabbing Lucy and Urza, he flashed away, leaving the two ice mages to their showdown. Arriving now at the top of the temple, Naruto saw a group of downed mages. Mira, Lisana and Natsu stood victorious over their foes. Letting go of the two women he flashed with, Lucy fell to her hands and knees and began to hurl. Urza, having experienced this once before, did better. She felt dizzy as she fell to her knees. That gets a little easier, she said shakily. Gets easier? I can't even get up yet, Lucy said from her spot on the ground. Naruto. I leave for like 2 minutes, and you've already got girls falling for you, Mira said teasingly to the three. Such a bad boyfriend of mine. Haha. Now let's finish this. We can crack jokes later. There's still a demon somewhere. Gray said it was under the temple. Naruto said. Making their way to the cave under the temple, they found Deloria, still encased in ice. Suddenly a light and magic circle appeared as the ice began to melt. I thought you guys took care of all the mages, Urza said. Must have missed one. Lisana said, embarrassed. TCH, whatever. They were weak anyway, Mira said alongside her sister. Suddenly a crack appeared on the ice. Then it began to grow larger and spiderweb across its surface. The ground began to rumble as everyone went on the defensive. Shit. It's gonna break free, Naruto growled. And no sooner than he had said it, it happened. Deloria burst free in a show of its power. Ice shards flying everywhere as the mages covered their faces. A mighty roar deafened their ears. All right. Everyone back up. I'm gonna end this quickly. Kurama! Naruto shouted. Right. Naruto was engulfed by a burst of orange energy. He now glowed as black markings littered his body. The surrounding mages gawked at his new form. Whoa, he's orange! Natsu said. So warm. Lisana commented, feeling a warm, calming aura around her older brother figure. Naruto! Is this what you've been hiding from us? Mira asked. Urza nodding in agreement with her rival over Naruto's new form. Later. For now, Naruto said, forming a Rasengan in his hand. And without any warning, faster than they could see, Naruto leapt at Deloria. When he reached the massive demon, he thrust his technique through its head, finding it surprisingly easy as he tore through it. Once he finished the demon off, he reappeared in his spot in front of everyone and cancelled his form. That was Naruto began. Too easy. It was weak. Kurama spoke with his Jinchuriki. Yeah. Kinda like it wasn't at full power. Naruto added. It did start to lose energy after it broke free. Like it was being sapped of strength while it was sealed. You felt it, didn't you? A life force fading away? Naruto nodded. You did it! Lisana praised the boy. Of course he did. He's my boyfriend and our ace. Didn't even break a sweat, Mira said cockily. The mages watched as the demon's body began to disintegrate. Naruto! Hey! You did it! They heard an echo. Turning, they found Gray looking worn out, running towards them. You beat Deloria, Gray. I assume your fight went well? Naruto asked. Yeah. I beat Lion. Took a bit. But I did it. Seems like you had no trouble. Gray commented. No. It was already beaten. I simply finished it off, Naruto told them. The mages looked at him in shock. They had just watched Naruto defeat the demon in a single blow, and he was claiming someone else had beaten it. It seems your master did more than seal it away. It might have gotten out, but it had no strength. Its life force had been sapped away. Naruto explained. I just gave it the final push. It seems like that master of yours had one final trick up her sleeve. You mean? Gray asked. She did that. She weakened Deloria? Yes. If she was anything like my master, she did it for you. Her student. To let you live your life. To keep you from having to finish what she started. It probably would have done the job. If they hadn't unsealed it. Naruto commented. All this time I never knew. Thank you, Naruto. Anytime. Now on to business, Naruto said. The group's tone took a complete 180. Lisanna! Mira shouted, grabbing the girl's cheek. Mira, nay! Ouch, ouch, ouch! Let go! Lisanna whined. What the hell were you all thinking? You could have been killed. Mira lectured. I expected some dumb shit out of Natsu and Gray, but you're smarter than them. This was stupid. We did fine. Let's talk about that glowy form of yours, Naruto. Natsu shouted. You got lucky. Lucy was almost turned into a pulp by a golem. If it hadn't been for her spirit's unique bond with her, she'd be dead. Naruto scolded the boy. Natsu, for his part, looked ashamed. He hadn't known that. Now let's go. You all have a punishment to look forward to. We need to go check on the village first. Gray said somberly. The group returned to find all the villagers safe. The village elder began to yell at the non-S-class mages that the villagers were still demons, or at least turning into demons. After a quick rundown, Urza and Gray believed they knew what the cause was, so Team Natsu went to lift the curse on the villagers, while Lisanna, Mira and Naruto left to prepare the boat. At the dock, Lisanna and Mira began to pester the blonde about his form. Come on, Naru and I. It was so cool. You went all orange, then you moved so fast. I think you were faster than Jet. Lisanna said. Yeah, have you been holding out on me? Mira asked, crossing her arms as she waited for an explanation. I thought I was going to need it. I figured such a famous demon would be tougher. Had I known, I wouldn't have used it. Naruto told them. Oh no! You did use it, and now we know. Is that your full power? What even was that? Mira asked. Irritated, he was trying to pass it off as nothing. No. It's not. You know about, well, my demon. It's what happens when I use his power. Naruto told them. Ooh sis. You both are so similar. No wonder you belong together. Lisanna gushed. Of course. We are perfect for each other after all. But you're not off the hook, Missy. Mira told her. I'm sorry. At first me and Gray did come to bring the others back. We were too late to stop them from leaving Harjan. So we ended up meeting them here. Gray got roped in pretty easily. I tried to get them to turn back, but when we got to the village, Lisanna trailed off. I wanted to help them. I wanted to be like you. Lisanna said to her sister. You're so strong. You have a perfect boyfriend. I just wanted to be like you. I figured if I could prove I was strong enough, Lisanna continued. She didn't finish as she was pulled into a hug by her sister. I'm glad you're okay. You are strong, Lisanna. Maybe not S-class, but you're getting there. You don't have to rush it. And you have Natsu. Sure, he's no Naruto. But he's yours, Mira told her. Yeah, you're more like your sister than you think, Lisanna. You're both pretty stubborn. Especially when it comes to your family. Naruto said, and sweet moment over. Mira said as she looked at Naruto. Bad timing, Naruto. Lisanna added. Oh, come on. It's true. Naruto defended himself. Suddenly he found his cheek pinched as Mira glared at him. Stubborn, huh? Mira snarled at him. Hey. Let go, ouch, damn it, Mira. Naruto winced. Suddenly they heard a crash, and the sound of glass breaking. Looking towards the disturbance, they found that the oddly purple moon was now normal. What looked like shards of purple glass fell from the sky, disintegrating into nothing as they fell. Guess that had something to do with the villagers? Naruto remarked. Well, guess we can go home. Mira said, her anger at Naruto forgotten. Naruto wrapped an arm around her as he held her close. Watching the oddly beautiful sight, you know, even if it was basically dead. It was pretty hot how you beat that demon. Mira told him. Oh? Maybe I should show off some more. Naruto said as he looked at his girlfriend. A smirk on his face. Maybe you should. Gets me all hot, Mira said huskily. As she pressed herself into his chest. Well, I can't have that. I'm gonna have to cool you off. Naruto told her before he claimed her lips in a passionate make-out session, both Naruto and Mira's hands roaming over each other's bodies. Mira running her hands over his abs and crotch. Naruto grabbing handfuls of Mira's juicy ass. Sis. I'm right here. Lisanna admonished, covering her eyes from the couple's intimate display. Well, maybe you shouldn't be here then. Mira replied in between kisses. Came a voice. Turning, they found 4 blushing mages. Urza leading the group as she stood with her hands on her hips. If you two are done groping each other, we need to be on our way. Urza said. For your information, no, we are not. Mira glared at her rival. Unfortunately, Urza's right. Everyone on the boat. Naruto said. He stood there as everyone got on the boat. He didn't move from his spot, facing away from the boat and its passengers. Let's go, lover boy. Mira shouted. I'll be there in a minute. Just, taking a last look at the island. Naruto said rather lamely. Ha! Did your Mira get you all bothered? Mira teased, knowing exactly why he hadn't moved. Naruto, if you're upset, I apologize for interrupting, but we must get going. Urza said to him. He's not upset, he's worked up. Mira said. The others catching on to the situation, as they blushed in Lucy and Lisanna's case. Natsu and Gray snickered at the ace. Urza remained oblivious. Why are you worked up? It didn't look that hard of a fight back there. Urza exclaimed. Oh, I'm sure it was harder than it looked. Mira teased. I see. I didn't know it strained you. Urza said honestly. The only thing straining is his pants. Natsu said before he and Gray laughed. Per Naruto. When we get back your Mira will make it up to you. Mira cooed, not helping. Naruto shouted. Everyone please. Naruto is clearly suffering from something. Urza scolded everyone. Yeah. Blue balls. Gray quipped. Blue balls? I've never heard of such an injury. Naruto, were your testicles affected by the ice earlier? Urza said in concern. Enough. Urza, please don't talk about my balls. Naruto said embarrassed. Yeah, he's having a tough time already. All pent up, I like that. You're just gonna have to let it out. Mira laughed at Urza's obliviousness. Yes, Naruto. If that's what needs to be done, then let it go. Give yourself release. Urza encouraged. The boys and Mira continued to laugh. The two girls blushed harder than they ever had before. Though they too snickered at the comment. Seriously? Naruto shouted. A blush of his own taking over his face. Okay. Enough. Urza, Naruto hasn't got on the boat 'cause I got him aroused. Mira told her. Well, yes, I do believe he is attracted to you, Mira. Why else would you be dating? Urza replied to the white-haired model. Everyone sighed at the redhead. This was painful how oblivious she was. I gave him a boner. Mira practically shouted at her rival. Oh. Oh. Urza replied. An atomic blush overtook her face as the pieces fell into place. She was mortified at the comments she had made about her friend's endowment. Mira! Naruto shouted. Oh, stop. You've got nothing to be ashamed of. Mira told him. It'd be hard to walk with that thing all hard. My man's hung like a horse, Mira! Came the collective yell from all those present. Yendi, what if Naruto was primordial sage in fairy tale? And thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoyed this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel, and leave a like if you guys need the next part. Comment down, and thanks for watching the video, and see you guys in the next video.